Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's go.
All right, guys, welcome to our show. Thanks for watching Fox 5 Live today. It is, oh my gosh, I need to look at the calendar. It's May 24th, it's Wednesday, and I'm Molly Nevola here in the newsroom with Cam helping me out. For the day, we're going to be going over some awesome just news, trending news of the day, breaking news, and events. Cam, you want to grab that? And we're glad that you can join us. So we're going to recap some of the stuff that happened this morning. We just watched President Trump at a little roundtable in Brussels, Belgium, with some of the NATO leaders. He's on his fourth leg of his first foreign trip. Met at a little roundtable and a little welcoming ceremony after coming off the plane. And it was quick. We had it live briefly, and now we know he's in Brussels. So we'll be monitoring that on his trip. Cam's helping me out today. We're dealing with some computer issues and stuff. Feel free to jump in and join us on the show. Use the live chat box. We want to hear from you, hear where you're watching from, and what you want to see. We're just going to recap some cool stuff that we saw this morning and some stories that Fox 5 has covered, including some really interesting stories from the morning show today on Good Day DC this morning. So once again, sorry about the dark. We're having some issues with the camera. We are in the Fox 5 local digital newsroom in Washington, D.C., and we're so excited to have you guys here on this Wednesday. And we're going to start by flipping around to see what's going on. I have a couple sources coming in right now. We have a lot of stuff on Capitol Hill, per usual. Betsy DeVos, Secretary of Education, is testifying about the education portion of the budget. the OMB director, Mick Mulvaney, who we've seen multiple times at the podium in the White House press briefing room. He's very animated. He's very interesting. He's testifying before Congress today, sort of an all-day event. We'll probably jump in and out of that. And then, of course, we have follow on the Manchester terrorist attack, and a lot of follow on that. Updates from Manchester police. We have a mosque leader who made remarks from the Manchester Islamic Center that was really interesting just moments ago. I'm going to bring you that video next. But first, we'll recap sort of what's going on and what police have found out about this tragedy and sort of what they're doing now. They're searching for 3 more possible accomplices in this tragedy. So kind of a mix of stuff. We got the Nats game later today. Cam's going to it.
Yep.
Jealous.
I'll be there.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that too. There's just sort of a special giveaway at the Nats game today. So for DC fans, if you're watching from DC and maybe you're going, let us know in the comments. That is today, and so we'll show you some pictures from what to expect at that game. So first, let's go over to the most recent update from Manchester Police. This was from earlier this morning, very recently, a little press conference to the media. Just an update on what's going on over there. Let's check it out.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ian Hopkins, the Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police. I'd like to give you an update on the investigation so far. I would like to confirm that we are confident that we have now spoken to the immediate family of all those that sadly died in today's attack, and that they are being supported by specially trained family liaison officers. I'm also aware of speculation on social media and the wider media around the occupation of one of the victims. Very sadly, I can confirm that one of the victims is a serving police officer, but in respecting their family's wishes, I will make no further comment at this stage. Due to the number of victims, the postmortems are likely to take 4 to 5 days. After this, we will be in a position to formally name the victims in line with guidance from the Colonel. I would also like to confirm that we have spoken to all of the families of those that lay injured in our hospitals, and of course we are doing all we can to support all of them too. You will be aware that the level of activity in this investigation is intense and is continuing at a fast pace. We have made 3 further arrests in connection with attacks overnight, and this afternoon we entered an address in Manchester city centre using a controlled explosion. Officers are currently at the scene searching that address, but in order to execute that entry we did have to close a mainline railway line for a short period, but this now has reopened as we continue those searches. So that brings the total number of people in custody currently to 4. People across Greater Manchester will have seen a significant increase in the number of armed officers on mobile patrol and at static points across the city. We have been supported by forces from across the northwest and beyond. This forms part of our well-tried and tested plans for any major terrorist attack. Obviously, with the announcement from the Prime Minister last night of the increase in the threat level to critical, you will be aware that the military are supporting policing across the country under the code name Operation Temporary. This is about the military being used to guard iconic sites and other sites outside of London and across parts of the north. This frees up armed police officers to then give the police service capacity to deploy them to places like Manchester as part of our plans for keeping the country safe. What I would confirm is that there are no military personnel patrolling the streets of Greater Manchester, nor are there any plans for that to happen at this time. The armed police that is now available throughout the rest of the country is being used to supplement my armed officers here in Manchester, and in particular is enabling us to work to make sure that the planned Manchester Games and the 10K run go ahead this weekend. We obviously had significant plans in place with event organisers in Manchester City Council around those annual events. We we are now obviously reviewing those. As I've said, we are carrying out extensive searches of premises across Manchester, but it would be ill-advised of me to comment on the investigation to that
Did
detail.
somebody else put that bomb together, and are you searching for that person? Is this a search now for a bomb maker?
I think it's very clear that this is a network that we are investigating, and as I've said, it continues at a pace. There's extensive investigations going on and activity taking place across Greater Manchester as we speak. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it
Thank you.
his family spoke to the police?
Why ask questions when they answer?
Okay, guys, we apologize for the sound on that one. They switched sources in the middle of it. And I want to show you quickly, I attached this also to a little piece from our reporter Bob Barnard from earlier this morning outside the British Embassy here in Washington. He has a little update on just the coverage from the U.S. side of things. Then I'll jump back in and give you more.
Yes, a few developments. There have been 3 more arrests in this investigation in the most recent hours. Also, evidence gathered during the investigation has led British authorities to raise that country's terror alert level. And we've also learned the suspected suicide bomber who was killed in the blast over the weekend had apparently traveled to Libya recently, where ISIS is known to have training camps. Now, here in front of the embassy, in front of the Union Jack here at the corner of Observatory Circle and Massachusetts Avenue, you see a wreath here, white roses, white carnations, a few pink carnations as well, and a little banner here that says, "To Manchester with love."
So that was a shot of outside the British Embassy here in Washington, D.C., right on Massachusetts Avenue, which we drive by every day. We see it all the time. So I think the biggest takeaways from that press conference we were noting, because the sound was kind of rough at the beginning, but the biggest things are that they're on the look, or they have arrested 3 other suspects, which is a big deal. The country is on high alert. It's at its critical level, right? Critical level. Which is the highest level of security and alert for the country, meaning there could be an imminent threat coming, which is very terrifying, in my opinion. And so they're on alert. They're hyping up security everywhere. And lastly, he did mention that, unfortunately, I think one of the Manchester police officers was killed. He's one of the victims in the attack. So I believe one of the 22 dead is what he meant by that. So we had our reporter, Bob Barnard, outside the British Embassy here in Washington today. And you saw that banner that said, "To Manchester with love." So definitely an expression of support from over here. On this side of the pond, we have President Trump on his trip to Brussels, his last or 4th leg of the foreign trip. He'll go back to Sicily, I believe, tomorrow, so southern Italy, and then I believe return back to the States. So in conjunction with this, just moments ago, we heard from the Manchester Islamic Center. One of the mosque leaders made some remarks to the press. We're going to show you that video now. Actually, we're going to go right over to President Trump, because that's coming in right now. He is meeting with the King of Belgium right now. And so let's get that footage in live, and then we'll bring you over to this video.
Peace. Quick. That's it.
All right, that was it for that feed. Super quick. Yeah, I can take it off. Yeah, I just switched it.
Just live service.
Bring that sound down. So just a quick meeting there. I just wanted to grab that for you guys live. We're getting things fed in all day because the president is over on his foreign trip in Europe. So as we get stuff in, we're going to show it to you guys live. Lots of stuff going on around Capitol Hill today. Let us know where you're watching from and what you want to see. We want to hear from you guys, the viewers. We're Fox 5 Live in the basement newsroom here, the digital newsroom of Fox 5 DC, local news. And so we're just going to be covering different trending stories and stuff and topics that we want to talk about today. So going back to what I was talking about, this was really interesting to me. The leader of a mosque in Manchester actually addressed the media. It was very succinct and sort of terse and blunt, direct, exactly. He kind of summed everything up, did not take any questions, and this was just moments ago. So let me show you that video that we have. We got it in just a few minutes ago. Check it out.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most beneficent. Good afternoon. Peace be upon you. My name is Muhammad Al-Khayyat. I am a trustee of the Manchester Islamic Center. On behalf of the Manchester Islamic Center, we would like to welcome you all to the mosque. Standing beside me, behind me, are Imam Mustafa Graf, who is the Chief Imam of Manchester Islamic Center. Mr. Qadir Ahmed Chauhan, he is the Chair of the Manchester Council of Mosques. Councillor Rab Nawaz Akbar, who is the Welfare Officer of the Manchester Council of Mosques. Sister Sarah Ayoub, who is a member of the Youth Committee of Manchester Islamic Center. And Mr. Fawzi Haffar, who is a trustee of the Manchester Islamic Center. Before Fawzi Haffar reads the press statement, we would like to pay our respects to the victims of Monday's atrocity with a minute's silence, please. Thank you. I will now call Mr. Fawzi Haffar to read the press statement.
Thank you, Brother Muhammad. Good afternoon, all. Peace be upon you. Peace be upon you all. My name is Fawzi Haffar, and I am a trustee of the Manchester Islamic Center. I would like to make one point very clear, that after reading this press statement, we will not be making any further comments, and we will not be taking any questions. so we will not be taking any questions. The press statement reads as follows. The Manchester Islamic Center's thoughts and prayers are with the victims, their families, their friends, and our diverse communities across Greater Manchester. The horrific atrocity that occurred in Manchester on Monday night has shocked us all. It has indeed shocked us all. This act of cowardice has no place in our religion or any other religion for that matter. We encourage anyone, and I repeat, we encourage anyone who may have information about the individual involved to contact the police without any delay so they can assist with their investigations. The Manchester Islamic Center, where you are all standing, is a public venue, and as such, we welcome thousands of attendees, and I do mean thousands of attendees, Muslims and non-Muslims, and I repeat, Muslims and non-Muslims. Every week this is happening. This happens every week. This center has been part of our fine and great city and the Didsbury community. This has been going on since the 1960s. The doors of this center are open to all. They are open to all. As a center, we serve all people from all backgrounds and faith, from our food and clothes banks to all our interfaith dialogues. Some media reports have reported that the bomber worked at the Manchester Islamic Center. So some media reports have reported this. This is not true. I assure everyone, listeners, viewers in the UK, around the UK, this bomber has never worked in this center. We express concern that a small section, a very small section of the media are manufacturing stories and making unfounded points without any verification or context or corroboration. We are concerned about reports we are receiving about anti-Muslim acts. These are terrible anti-Muslim acts, ranging from verbal abuse to acts of criminal damage to mosques in the area and outside the area. We encourage, again, we do encourage any incidents to be reported as a hate crime. These incidents have to be reported as hate crimes. The Manchester Islamic Center would like to take this opportunity to thank the police and the emergency services as well as ordinary people, people like you and I, all ages, including taxi drivers, takeaways, restaurants, mosques, hotels, homeowners who provided assistance in the immediate aftermath of this atrocity. Please do remember this. Do not cut this out of your stories. That's very important. Manchester is a great city with a great history and a prosperous and bright future ahead of it. The Manchester Islamic Center is proud to be part of this great city of Manchester. I thank you for attending and listening.
Did Salman already pray here, sir?
BBC Arabic. Does the father walk here? So did someone have
the police contacted you?
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to bring it back to the studio here briefly. So that was just moments ago at the Manchester Islamic Center. Some very pointed words there from the leader of the center about this tragedy, this alleged terrorist attack in Manchester. And I see, Caitlin, you're watching from the UK. Thanks so much for checking in with us. It must be, just crazy to be over there during all of this. You're seeing it probably up front even more so in the media, and we're trying to cover what we can here and what we're getting in. So thanks again for watching our coverage. Right now, we're getting in across the way here, Pacific Coast, a source where there is a house fire. Check this out. This is Chatsworth, California, a house fire going on. Lots of firefighter presence here, lots of response. We got this feed in. Let's see if there's any sound. I don't think so. Oh, we might have a reporter there to give us some updates, but some aerials here of firefighters efforting this house fire over in Chatsworth. That's in the Los Angeles area of California. And this is what we're seeing. This is crazy footage.
Yeah, firefighters on the roof there, looks like.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like we're not getting right now up-to-date commentary from the reporter over there at KTLA, but this looks like quite a large house, again, in Chatsworth, California, in the Los Angeles County area of California. I'm trying to effort some more information on where this is and what exactly is going on, but definitely big enough for us to get this. There we go. There's the wide-angle view from the chopper out there, aerial footage of that. And I want to jump over now. We're going to kind of keep our eye on this. Wow, it looks like firefighters are running around the house. Kind of a frantic situation. Quite scary.
We got 3 on the roof still.
3 or 4, yeah, 3 on the roof, up that ladder. I'm trying to get some more information on this, but nothing much out right now. But again, Chatsworth, California, house fire they're working on right here. Okay, we're going to jump over really quickly because we have another feed coming in right now from one of our live cameras in D.C. The mayor of D.C., Mayor Bowser, is at the podium talking about the missing children crisis in Washington. We've seen it a lot in the news, just a lot of media on this, a lot of reports of missing children in the past few months that we've actually covered here at Fox 5. And so we're going to jump over to see what the mayor has to say about cracking down on this epidemic of sorts and what she plans to do on that regard. So this is Mayor Bowser right here in Washington, live.
See how it was going to work. We also have a full study being done on the impact of body cameras on policing, and I expect that we would similarly roll out a new tool for police officers in a controlled way.
You know why it's taking so long?
It hasn't. I've been the mayor for 2 years, and so I wouldn't say that's taken long. Yes. Aaron.
A couple of data questions and then a general question.
Okay.
I've noticed DC for a long time has put out the number of missing and then number of critical missing and then number of solved in the broad general juvenile category. Do we know how many critical missing kids are still unsolved at the moment?
I think we do. If you give me a moment, and the commander may be looking for this at the same time. Your question was how many critical missing for 2017?
Yeah, and then the handout says 28 unsolved juveniles, but of those 28, how many are in the critical category?
I think the number is 19 for 2017.
Okay. And we have none of those, we believe, have been abducted.
We don't have any reason to think that.
And then generally, along with one of the initiatives here, the public service campaign, is there any discussion about changing some of the terminology or like this idea of a critical missing person? It's really just a designation by age. Is that the best term for it? Or?
It's not necessarily. I think that you heard the commander say that another person in between those ages could be identified as critical missing if foul play is suspected.
In light of how much attention DC did get, will be there ongoing or any changes we can expect to the terminology or how this?
Let me ask Director Donald or Director Garcia to talk about the working group's discussion around communications and terms.
We're a great team. First, we actually relabeled our the working group and we call it missing and runaway youth, right? To more appropriately characterize our kids who are missing. I think the working group focused on communications and outreach more from two points. One, in terms of prevention and really looking for signs and helping people who are touching our youth, either in schools or in programs, and parents to know what signs to look for if they think that a child may be in a vulnerable situation or may be likely to run. And there's a lot more that we need to learn about that. And then the other is in terms of our hotline and helpline, and we have plans to expand that so that it's more responsive locally and more tied into local providers.
With this Sasha Bruce drop-in center, what will that look like if a runaway youth goes there? Do they know that like police are going to be notified that they're found, or will it be more of a anonymous situation?
Right. Well, kids who are found or returned in different ways, right? So the vast majority of them are identified and found by the police. And so this is a place for the police to be able to take them and, say, here's where you can be safe and here's kind of what's going to happen in the next couple of days. But also youth show up with our providers. We have community groups who are out looking for youth and they identify them. And I think the outreach efforts are to encourage youth to come in. And so for us, it's in our discussions, it's not that they have to come in through a police door. It's they're on the streets, they're not at home, they're not safe. We want a safe place, and then we want to find out what's going on with you so that we can support the youth and hopefully get them back home.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
So that cut out on us, just a short briefing there with the mayor of DC, Muriel Bowser, speaking about missing children and their efforts in 2017 and what sort of efforts they'll take to combat that problem in our area. I'm going to bring to your attention something totally different. Let's bring this one up. How about this? Cam, you're familiar. Yep. Woo! Check it out. I'm going to double box this for you guys. Okay, so tonight starts some of the giveaways for the Nats, right? And their games. Let's double box us. You want to grab that mic? Yeah. Let's talk about it. Put your mic up. All right, so Cam's gonna chat a little more about this. We got in the left corner of your screen, local Masson commentator FP Santangelo posted this photo of the snow globe that they're giving out tonight.
Yeah, so this is one in just a long line, really, of Max Scherzer giveaways. They've done, I want to say, 2 bobbleheads already, and I guess they decided to switch it up this time. Go for the snow globe, which I guess is not something you see every day out of a ballpark promotional.
I know, not in the summer. I mean, but it's cute for winter.
I mean, and honestly, because it's so different, that's one of the reasons that I'm so excited about it. I get the privilege of going to the game tonight. I'll make sure to get there nice and early.
Yeah.
So I can grab one of those snow globes.
I was gonna say, and then in a few days, I'm looking at the list here. There's a Star Wars Day.
Yeah, Star Wars
Saturday.
Day. They had one of those last year, I think, as well. And they have T-shirts maybe or something like that. I don't remember exactly what they're giving out this year, but and they have cute little kind of they turn some of the players into replicas almost, or associate them in some way with some of the Star Wars characters. I don't know if for any baseball fans that may be watching, Jason Worth got turned into Chewbacca, which
perfect.
Fits right in with him and his huge mane of hair he's got going on.
Totally. And then they also have some snacks at the ballpark that are going to be named for Star Wars characters, which is cute, in association with the different food items that are available at Nats Park. And then on the Sunday, that is the Sunday, Memorial Day weekend Sunday, they're doing a yoga day. So if you sign up and you get a special ticket, you get an actual yoga mat branded with the Washington Nationals. That sounds fun.
You seemed a little excited about that.
I was like thinking if I was going to be in town, I really wanted to check it out. Plus it's a gorgeous, hopefully it would be a gorgeous weekend and cool opportunity to get a new piece of gear that you can actually, use a lot again. But this is tonight's offering and you're going to get it.
Yep. I'll be there. Hopefully we can win again today. We had a big 10-1 victory yesterday with all sorts of home runs, and Anthony Rendon had another two home runs. Glad to see him coming around. So
awesome.
Hopefully we can get another win tonight.
So great. I know the weather's been up and down. Like I think I went on Easter Sunday to Nats Park. That was my first game of the season, actually. It was funny. It was hot as heck. It was like 90 degrees. Great day. It was really warm. I loved it. But the weather's been so up and down, so we'll have to see.
It was a little cold this morning, so hopefully it seems it's 63 right now. I'm just looking it up, 63. So.
Right, totally different. It's been definitely a weird week of weather. So totally changing gears, talking about the local sports here. But we're still following, guys, the local, or actually the international as well. Let's bring it back full screen here. Events of the day and the news. Thanks for watching. If you're joining us from wherever you are across the nation or in DC or even across the pond in the UK, thanks for checking in with us here. We have continued coverage of the Manchester follow, any updates that we get on that as they continue to gather evidence and information about the new 3 suspects that they've arrested.
Yeah,
that's what they announced, right?
Police chief said that the investigation was fast-paced going on. They had all sorts of people at the station on it, so pretty, updates probably should keep rolling in. Yeah,
we should see some more updates. We'll probably get some more aerial footage and live stuff coming in. Of course, President Trump, we mentioned, is in Brussels. We're bringing you just the top stories of the day and some interesting stuff, including this one. I'm going to bring you over to this really cool story. We're going to come back locally to a story that we ran yesterday about a local police deputy who was playing a game of ice hockey with police friends, DC police. This is a sheriff deputy who was playing goalie. And suddenly he dropped on the ice and collapsed and had a heart attack. He was rescued by the other team. This was just a fun game between, local DC EMS and police. And we have the story here, just a little brief package about what exactly happened and what he remembers from that incident. Check it out.
I blame the heart attack.
We had a police officer who was playing a hockey game against firefighters, and a pretty competitive game for a while until the goalie decided to kind of lay down on the job.
When I woke up, I didn't quite know what happened. I thought I had just passed out. So when I woke up and I was like, get off me, I'm okay. And I was told, no, this is a little more serious. You had a heart attack, and they explained everything. Somebody to my right, whoever was doing most of the talking, said something like, we got you back, you're going to make it. I remember hearing you're going to make it. And there was that second of, I didn't realize that wasn't an option. I didn't realize that what? Was that ever in doubt? Because I just didn't understand what was going on.
We have 8 men who we're going to recognize for the quality of care they provided. This being EMS Week, it's a great opportunity to make sure that we recognize that. The question that we all asked each other was this: did they score and help him, or did they help him after he went down?
Well, I'm going to blame the heart attack. It was 8-0 when the heart attack happened. As a goalie, I take pride, and I think definitely the heart attack inhibited my ability to stop some of those pucks. I'm sure it would have been 3 or 4-0. We were on our way to a comeback, I felt like. I want to thank these guys behind me. It's all about them. If it's not for them, I wouldn't be standing here. My family, my friends, everybody in my world is eternally grateful for everything they did to keep me alive and allow me to be here today.
So that was just a quick video that we ran about that incident, and I love that he's making jokes now about it.
So nonchalant. So nonchalant. I was like, oh yeah, I was almost dead, but here we are,
It's crazy. I'm trying to find out more information. I want to see if he's still serving, or what exactly, what he's going through, if he had some type of corrective surgery, or if it was just like a, health change for him. It's wild to see his reactions. I'm actually going to look up that story. We had that updated story on our website if you guys are interested as well, and on our Facebook page. Looks like
it's on Channel 2. We're going to step away from Chatsworth, California. We're going to take you back to New York City. Aerials over the Hudson River as Fleet Week gets underway. Source of these aerials is...
We're just getting into messages from our Fox box, which gives us the sources of what is rolling in on today's news. And we're going to go up to New York City now, because I was going to actually bring you this video earlier. A gorgeous video of Fleet Week. It's Fleet Week in New York City, rolling along the Hudson River from earlier. I have some cool footage of that I was actually going to bring up. But now we have a live cam up there over the Hudson. Check this out. This is cool. That's what it looks like there, the shot of the ships rolling in. All right, guys, sorry for that delay. So you're looking at live aerials of Fleet Week in New York City. This is an annual celebration. This is actually the 29th year, an annual celebration of the sort of maritime and naval military operations. So honoring people like the U.S. Coast Guard, the U.S. Navy, and it entails sort of a week-long celebration of various, it's a time-honored celebration of just the sea services in general. So there'll be like different ceremonies and different events surrounding these ships and everything in the Hudson River Harbor area. And it kicked off today. So this goes into the long weekend, and this is every year. Once again, it's the 29th year honoring the maritime services of the United States. So we are likely to see a bunch of ships come in, and possibly some of the ceremonial stuff surrounding this special occasion. Here, I'm going to double box this right here. There it is. So that's what we're taking a look at right here, officially kicking off in New York City today. Lots of events, and you can find out more, just a lot of articles about this on militarynews.com, and other military publications have more on this. So that's a live shot. We got a little zoom in here, see if we can see anything else on these ships and aircraft carriers here. I guess there'll be an official parade of ships as well. So maybe we'll get that as part of the ceremony. There's a little more of a close-up as to what it looks like down there. Middle of the day here in Manhattan. I'm reading that about 4,000 sailors, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen are expected to take part in these events. So that's a lot.
Does it say how many ships are in there?
I'm looking.
10, I want to say, on this. 10.
Okay,
on
yeah.
The schedule.
Nice.
That are expected to be pierside. So I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
Go on them if you happen to be tuning in from New York or.
And okay, yeah, if you happen to be tuning in from New York, yeah, maybe you have more comments, or maybe you're up there. You could tweet at us or get us a pic live. But there's a close up of this chopper. This is all funny because it comes at a time today. We had it in our morning show this morning. They announced that they are making a sequel to Top Gun.
Yes.
So that's super cool. Tom Cruise.
We're pretty excited.
Yeah, so confirmed it. And our entertainment reporter Kevin McCarthy had some more on that, and he said he's going to actually see Tom Cruise at some event that I think he's at in LA later this week. So he'll ask him more on that. But that is confirmed. That will happen. And actually, I was reading during this Fleet Week today. During these celebrations of 2017, they're going to be screening Top Gun, the original Top Gun, obviously, as part of one of their special events. So that's kind of cool. Relevant.
You almost have to do with the military, so it's a celebration like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that's Fleet Week. I'm not sure how many ships we are seeing. You said you were thinking 10.
Yeah, I see. Like there's always 10 on their schedule that Fox 5 New York put out.
Yeah.
That are expected to be pierside.
Right.
In between 9:53, so 2 hours ago, roughly.
Okay.
And 12:49 is the last one, they say.
Wow. I'm also reading there's tons of ship tours. You can go on tours of these ships, and then there's also like stuff amongst the city. So there's a U.S. Navy tank dive in Times Square. Yeah, I would love to do that.
That seems cool.
It's cool, right? General ship tours. More of the celebration at the aquarium, just various things goes all the way through the weekend. General tours, yeah, things in Times Square, which is interestingly relevant after we had that Times Square scare as well that we covered here on Fox 5 Live and obviously elsewhere. So right in the middle of it all, they'll be celebrating for Fleet Week 2017. So that's what you're looking at here, live from Manhattan on the Hudson River. There's also a run involved. They call it the Freedom Run, so I'm not actually sure how long that is, but they run to the 9/11 Memorial Site. That's also part of the celebration and the events of Fleet Week. So cool aerials there from New York. All right, let's jump over to something else now. I guess we'll go back to the Hill where we have live stuff going on all day. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos is now on the stand. She's testifying about the education portion of the budget, and she's there speaking right now. I'm looking at this feed, so let's go over to Capitol Hill just for a little bit to see if we can glean anything from this on Capitol Hill.
Right, but before she passed away, said it does not live up to its promise. You're familiar with that, right?
And now 28,000 students in the city of Milwaukee.
She said it didn't live up to the promise of what the creation was. But the question is, would you send your children to a school with 93%
Today,
not proficient in
28,000 students in the
Okay.
city of
So
Milwaukee
I guess you're
are
not going to
being
answer
sent
that
there
question
by
either. So
their
let me, if I
parents.
can then, Madam Chair, if I can take my time back, if you're not going to answer the question, let me ask a different question that you might be willing to answer. So the last expansion in Wisconsin of this program, 75% of the kids, the parents who got this money, their kids already attended the school. And 2/3 of the money that went in the tax vouchers to the folks who received this were making more than $100,000. So largely, this is tax policy. This is an education policy. This is making sure people who are already attending these schools. Do you think that your federal program will support this sort of thing? So it's not to encourage new outlets in education. It's simply to give money to people who already attend those schools?
Well, I really applaud Milwaukee for empowering parents to make the decisions that they think are right for their students and their children. And I go back to what I said earlier about the fact that I think we need to shift our
So
conversation.
will the federal program, I guess, I'm sorry if I wasn't clear, is under what you're doing, there's 20 programs zeroed out from arts to foreign language, mental health, Special Olympics that are zeroed out under the budget proposal, but you've got new dollars for this failed experiment that I can tell you after 14 years in the legislature, we've had these dismal results. My question is, will the path of this new dollars you're putting in for the federal government go down the failed path in Wisconsin? It's going to people who already attend the schools. So there's nothing new about education. This is tax policy. It should be for the Ways and Means Committee. Is that the intention of the new program expansion that you have?
I know the 28,000 students that are attending schools by the choice of their parents in Milwaukee. That is a success for those students because their parents
So are you going
have
to hold
decided,
any accountability?
their parents
for
have
example,
decided that's the right place for their children.
Madam Secretary, seriously, you're not answering the question, so let me try one more. I've got 40 seconds. Maybe my trifecta.
Please give her an opportunity to answer the question.
Well, but she's answering a different question that I'm asking, and I guess at some point I have 5 minutes.
Answer.
Sure. So, will you have any accountability standards for these schools? So, when we first started the program in Wisconsin, money went to someone who started a school who said he could read a book by putting his hand on it, and people bought Cadillacs with the dollars they got in the voucher program. Are you going to have accountability standards in the programs that you're offering new dollars to at the federal level?
Wisconsin and all of the states in the country are putting their ESSA plans together right now. And they are going to decide what kind of flexibility they're going to allow. They have more freedom than ever because of the ESSA legislation to be creative and innovative. And our conversation needs to shift from talking about schools and buildings and institutions to what is right for individual students.
So I tried. I gave you 20 seconds. Will you have accountability standards was the question.
There are accountability standards. The states are required to have accountability standards.
Are you going to with the federal dollars was the question.
That is part of the ESSA legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got a second round. Thank you.
Absolutely. We now go to, I think, a member that's probably not a stranger to you, Madam Secretary, Mr. Molinar from Michigan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Secretary DeVos. Thank you for being here with us today. And I also want to thank you just for stepping up and being a leader for our kids and education in our country at this important time. And from your message today, I think it's an important message of trusting parents, trusting our local and state educators, and really keeping the focus on kids and what's best for them. So I very much appreciate that message. I wanted to bring up a specific topic to you that I had a recent listening session at Central Michigan University, and students in my district came forward with concerns regarding the rise of campus sexual assault across the nation. And it's been recently been reported that 1 in 5 women and over 10% of the student population will be a victim of sexual assault. My understanding is you recently met with the First Lady of Michigan, who has recently unveiled a program to combat this growing issue by creating a campus sexual assault work group called Let's End Campus Sexual Assault. I guess what I'm wondering is, is there a role for the federal government in this meeting this challenge? And I appreciate the fact that you're working with state officials and addressing this concern. And I promised the student who asked me this question that I would ask you directly in a hearing. So thank you for being here.
Thanks, Congressman. It's great to see you. And let me just say I share the concern that you and many others have about the rise in this issue on campuses, as well as many other issues on campuses. But the Office of Civil Rights at the Department of Education is very committed to investigating complaints that reach the Office of the Civil Rights, and we are invested in fully funding OCR. I know that there are a number of viewpoints on how the rules surrounding this have been implemented, and we are looking at those very closely. I've been meeting with a number of stakeholders, including First Lady Snyder from Michigan, and we take this issue very seriously. It is certainly an issue for the Office of Civil Rights to be engaged with, and for the Department of Education to grapple with. But we are not at a point where we can communicate any change in direction or any new information at this point.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, and I would like to keep in contact with you on that. And I know
welcome that
the students across the country are. That's a concern. And another area that's a concern, in fact, I've heard recently is today from business leaders about the need for skilled labor, and career and technical education is a huge priority, and the opportunity for jobs in this area in the future. And I know there are different ideas. The federal government has a role, and I appreciated your year-round Pell Grant statement. Are there partnerships or things that we can be doing at the federal level to encourage career and technical education, and what thoughts do you have on that?
Well, this clearly is an area that is of great focus on behalf of the president and this administration. And I've had the privilege and opportunity to visit 3 different community colleges since I've been in this job, and all of them taking a really unique approach to partnering with local businesses that have great needs for skilled workers and skilled trades, and really very high-skilled, high-paying jobs. I think that the way we can best support it is to in a very targeted manner, focus the dollars to help support community colleges in this pursuit, community colleges and other institutions of higher learning. I think we've done our young people a disservice over the last few decades by suggesting that a 4-year college or university is the only way you can really be a success in life, and that we have to have a much broader conversation around multiple pathways and multiple options for higher education, including layered credentialing and some of these programs that are being implemented at the community college level that are really meeting immediate needs. Students are getting the training and education that they need and into a very well-paying job, can go back again a year or 2 or 3 later and get additional credentialing. We have many, many jobs going unfilled in this country today that could be filled and addressed if there's that partnership. Again, it comes down to really a local level partnership with businesses and their needs. Saw an amazing program in Salt Lake City, one in the Orlando area, and another one in Miami, all meeting very different needs for very different directions, but many of them STEM focused, and that was a common theme. And so I think that another area that we can play a role is to really highlight some of the best practices and some of the successes that are happening.
Thank you. We next go to the gentlelady from Massachusetts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Madam Secretary, for being with us today. First, a quick question from home. We have 4,500 Massachusetts students who attended the now defunct American Career Institute. On January 18th, your department told them that their loans would be forgiven. It should be completed between 90 and 120 days. We are past the 120-day. Parents, our Massachusetts Attorney General, students are not getting a response from your department. Can you reaffirm that you're moving forward with this loan forgiveness?
Thank you, Congresswoman. Indeed, those to whom we've made a commitment, we are going to make good on that commitment, and that is in process. With regard to that regulation, that is something that we are studying carefully and looking at, and we will have something further to say on that within the next few weeks.
Great, and it would be very helpful if you would get back to our Attorney General and give some some reassurance to our students. I want to go back to the discussion you were having with my colleague from Wisconsin. You were recently in Indiana, where you called opponents of school choice flat earthers. And I assume that you mean by that, a flat earther is someone who doesn't look at evidence, doesn't look at data, isn't willing to embrace innovation, creativity, just keeps believing what they always believe. But we've had some major studies in, as you're proposing a $250 million increase in pilots that would include vouchers for private schools. The studies from Louisiana, from Indiana, from Ohio, all show that students who choose private schools in voucher programs have experienced, quote, significant losses in achievement. And the studies also show that if we want to achieve good outcomes for students, those come through nonprofit schools that are open to all and are accountable to state and or federal authorities. You've talked a lot about the flexibility of states as being preeminent. So I want to go back to Indiana, to Bloomington in particular, and look at the Lighthouse Christian Academy. The Lighthouse Christian Academy currently receives over $665,000 in state vouchers for students to attend their school. They are also clear in their handbook and their guidance that if you are from a family where there is homosexual or bisexual activity, their word, not mine, or practicing alternate gender identity, you may be denied admissions. If this school, which obviously is approved to discriminate against LGBT students in Indiana, if Indiana applies for this federal funding, will you stand up that this school be open to all students?
Thank you, Congresswoman, for your question with regard broadly to school choice. And
it's actually kind of narrow because I have 1 minute left.
And I would like to refer back to your question about the comment about those
I'm sure
who are
you would.
resistant
I
to
want
change.
to ask particularly, is there a line for you on state flexibility? You are the backstop for students in their right to access a quality education. Would you, in this case, say, we are going to overrule and you cannot discriminate, whether it be on sexual orientation, race, special needs, in our voucher programs? Will that be a guarantee from you for our students?
For states who have programs that allow for parents to make choices, they set up the rules around that.
So that's a no. Do you see any circumstance where the Federal Department of Education under your leadership would say that a school was not qualified? What if they said, we are not accepting African American students, but that was okay with the state? Does the state trump? Do you see any situation where you would step in?
Well, again, I think the Office of Civil Rights and our Title IX protections are broadly applicable across the board. But when it comes to parents making choices on behalf of their students...
This isn't about parents making choices. This is about use of federal dollars. Is there any situation, would you say to Indiana, that school cannot discriminate against LGBT students if you want to receive federal dollars? Or would you say the state has the flexibility in this situation?
I believe states
Yes or no?
continue to have flexibility in putting together their programs.
So if I understand your testimony, I want to make sure I get this right. There is no situation of discrimination or exclusion.
All right, guys, just checking in with you. If you are watching, wherever you're watching from, welcome to Fox 5 Live here in Washington, D.C. So you're looking at live aerials in the top of your screen there of Fleet Week. It's the annual celebration of maritime sea services from across the United States, Coast Guard, Navy, anything like that applies. And there's a long fleet of ships that come in, and there's lots of ceremony and procession and fanfare for those branches of the military, and there's ship tours and other events for that. So this is kind of a gorgeous view of the Hudson River here in New York City. We're getting that in live pictures. Also live, bottom of your screen, that's Betsy DeVos, Secretary of Education, getting questioned on the education portion of the new Trump budget and what it will mean for, you're hearing questions about certain schools across the country and different examples of what it will mean for them in the upcoming year with the budget that Trump has proposed. And Betsy DeVos seems to be getting a little bit hassled and roasted a little bit with questions. So kind of interesting stuff. This is live on Capitol Hill. Looks like our aerials have backed away from Fleet Week, so we'll bring this Capitol Hill hearing full screen for now. But just checking in with you guys. Stay with us for more coverage of live events and breaking news and trending topics here on Fox 5 Live.
Your comments, your answer, I think, to Senator Collins during your confirmation. As the chairman is, as I think most members of this program are, and as you said, you dropped the McNair and EOC programs because you thought they were outside of the congressional intent of what we had planned for TRIO. If we fund those programs, would they then be within congressional intent?
If that's how you defined it, I guess they would be. I'm giving you the rationale for what we've proposed in the budget, and we believe those programs fall outside of the scope. And again, we've made some tough choices and decisions with presenting our appeal for the budget.
And we'll have, and I understand that, and we'll have those discussions, and there are always differences between what any administration proposes and what Congress wants to do. Those are fairly, I think, well-supported programs within Congress, and you'll probably see funding in there. In the FY17 omnibus appropriations legislation, the subcommittee included a directive that encouraged you to use your discretion as the secretary to review.
So we're waiting here on some Senate Democrats to come out and just hold a media availability for press about the new health care proposal and what that looks like and how it will affect people across the country. So that's what we're waiting on right below my face here in the left corner of your screen. We'll bring that up when that comes live for us and we get some sound on it.
Steps the department will take to provide the opportunity for the rejected grant applications to be considered for funding.
Thanks for that question, Congressman. As you know, this grant application process was under the purview of the previous administration. The process was opened and closed prior to my coming into the job. And because it was, when we found out about the issue with regard to formatting errors, it was after the competition had closed, and we looked at all viable legal remedies to try to address it and did not find any. Since then, you have seen fit to appropriate $50 million. And going back and looking at it again, we believe that that has materially changed our available options. And so we are going to use those funds, the $50 million, to reconsider those applications that were considered not viable because of the formatting errors. And so that is going to be our remedy. But let me just say that this issue apparently has been going on through 4 different secretaries unaddressed. The moment I found out about it, I issued a department-wide policy indicating that we are not going to reject applications for any competitive bid process based on formatting, that this is a bureaucratic requirement that we should be rid of now, and we are. So anything going forward from here will not be held to those same formatting requirements. But with regard to this issue, which if you had any idea how much time it has chewed up internally for us, you would be amazed. But we have, because of that material change.
Guys, let's jump over to this presser with the Senate Democrats talking about health care. This is just about to start. We'll go there live now, and then we'll come back to this other hearing later on.
Your budget.
When it comes to protection for health care for themselves and their kids. If you've ever been a parent with a sick child and didn't have health insurance, you'll never forget it as long as you live. I know. I was there once. And if you've been through that experience, you want to make sure that you never reach that point again. You always want to have health insurance, and you want to make sure that other families are going to have that opportunity as well. One of the most important elements in the Affordable Care Act and healthcare reform was to make sure that everybody could buy health insurance. Hard to believe it wasn't that long ago, 6 or 7 years ago, that if you happen to have a pre-existing condition, insurance companies could turn you down, not sell you any insurance or sell you insurance at high prices that you might not be able to afford. We changed that. And we said you can't discriminate against any American because there is some health history in their family. It turned out the insurance companies didn't just identify the most serious illnesses as pre-existing conditions. They went into extreme definitions. So it wasn't just those who were cancer survivors or those who had had diabetes or anyone who has been through a heart issue. It became people, women, who were categorized as pre-existing conditions just by virtue of their gender, or if someone had had a particular issue with acne as a teenager, they might be disqualified from health insurance by some companies because of a pre-existing condition. We believe that this is worth fighting for, to make sure that every single family and their kids, regardless of pre-existing conditions, are going to have access to affordable health insurance. Earlier this month, the House of Representatives passed a piece of legislation that would repeal the Affordable Care Act. The bill would inflict serious harm on tens of millions of people nationwide, especially the 130 million Americans with pre-existing conditions, 5.5 million in my state of Illinois. And as I said, pre-existing conditions can include asthma, allergies, breast cancer, sickle cell anemia, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, to hernia. Thanks to the Affordable Care Act, insurers can no longer deny coverage to people with pre-existing conditions, no longer charge them more, or drop them when they get sick. Trump Care threatens to rip these protections away. It would allow states to receive waivers, which means to avoid any requirement to sell to persons with pre-existing conditions. It would allow insurers to once again charge people dramatically higher premiums with pre-existing conditions or to deny them coverage. And when these people inevitably couldn't afford to pay the high premiums under the new Trump Care approach, well, they came up with a fig leaf, as Senator King mentioned, and they said, well, you can be part of a high-risk pool. Those of us with any memory of the subject remember what those high-risk pools were all about. They were high-risk, high-premium, and they were hard to get into and too expensive for many families to even consider. We want to make sure that we continue to have reliable coverage for all families across America. There are currently 2.2 million people with pre-existing conditions who buy insurance through the Affordable Care Act individual market. Trump Care includes enough money just to cover 600,000 of them, about 27%. What about the other 73% that are not going to be protected under Trump Care? That's exactly the question that keeps us worrying about what the Republicans are going to do to our health care in America and keeps a lot of families up at night. I'm going to ask Senator King of Maine to join me, then Senator Schatz of Hawaii, and we have a number of families here who can get up and tell a little bit about their stories, what they have been through. So first, Senator Angus King of Maine.
I was thinking as Senator Durbin was speaking about what we would like a health care program to look like in this country, and the president has really defined it: coverage for all at reasonable prices, low deductibles, and full coverage for pre-existing conditions. I think that's a pretty good plan. It's called the Affordable Care Act. And the plan that has passed the House is the antithesis of that plan. It covers far fewer people. We'll find out this afternoon how many fewer it will cover. And it certainly doesn't cover people with pre-existing conditions. They added a provision at the last minute, and I do call it the fig leaf pre-existing condition provision, that allowed people to say, yes, our bill covers pre-existing conditions. But what it does is create the high-risk pool, but then doesn't fund them adequately. You can't just call it a high-risk pool or a pre-existing condition protection and then have it not function in real life for that reason. We had, ironically, the House bill talked about modeling a Maine plan that was passed in 2011 that did create a high-risk pool, but it funded it adequately to cover the people in it. And the provision in the House bill, the money that's available, is about 20% of what the Maine plan costs per person in order to meet the coverage of pre-existing conditions. I feel particularly strongly about this, and I feel strongly about the whole issue of health insurance for a very personal reason. 40 years ago, I worked here. I was a staff member, and as such, I had insurance. And part of the insurance plan that I had through the U.S. Senate in those days had part of it was prevention and preventive care and a free checkup. That's part, by the way, of the Affordable Care Act. Requires to have a free checkup and free preventive care. Because I had that free checkup, I was 28, 29 years old. I was immortal, but I figured it's free. Why not? And I went and had a checkup. And in the course of that checkup, it was discovered that I had a little mole on my back, which turned out to be something called malignant melanoma. And malignant melanoma is a particularly virulent form of cancer, which you either catch it in time or you're a goner. There's pretty much nothing in between. And I had surgery, and here I am. But what's always haunted me since that day was that somewhere in America that year, 1974, there was a young man who also had a mole on his back, but who didn't have insurance, didn't have access to the care that I got. And he's gone. And that's not fair. In the richest country in the world, to have life or death be decided by the accident of whether or not you had health insurance is just not right. And so that's why the bill that passed the House, to me, is such a cruel joke on the American people. It will drastically increase the number of people who are uninsured, and it will not cover pre-existing conditions. It will not lower deductibles. It will not lower premiums. It will not increase the number of people that are covered. So this, for me, matter of policy, but finally, it's a matter of people. We're not talking about ideology here. We're not talking about free markets. We're not talking about some, policy and philosophy and ideology. We're talking about people and people's lives and their ability to have the most fundamental right of all, the right to live their lives. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The first one was life. And that's what we're talking about here today. So I want to thank Senator Durbin for his leadership on this. I was not here when the Affordable Care Act was passed. I believe, as many of my colleagues do, I'm sure Senator Durbin and Senator Schatz believe that there are things in the Affordable Care Act that we could fix and improve and work on and make better. But the idea of repealing it just to check a political box to say you did it, and the consequences are so drastic on people's lives in Maine and across the country, I just find unacceptable. I'd like to ask my friend Brian Schatz from Hawaii to join us, and then we're going to talk to some of these incredibly patient young people over here. Brian?
Thank you. Thank you to both of my colleagues. It's not a surprise to me that even in his 20s that Angus King was a sensible person who would take the opportunity for a checkup. I want to thank the families here and everybody who is here to stand up for those tens of millions of Americans with pre-existing conditions. I have written remarks, but I'm going to hurry for all of you guys because you've been good so far, and I want to try to see if we can finish on the right note. Look, what the House did was cruel and craven, and it was based on a series of policy lies. And the most difficult to swallow is this idea that they provide coverage for people with pre-existing conditions. They simply do not. The opportunity to purchase insurance at a rate that you cannot afford is not coverage. The idea that you get thrown into a high-risk pool because you have a heart condition, because you have a mental health issue, because you have something that happened to you at birth, because you are a female, because you have had acne, because you have had a bad back, whatever it may be, everybody knows someone with a pre-existing condition. Everybody understands how cruel the healthcare system was before the implementation of the Affordable Care Act. And so this isn't just a policy issue. And this isn't just a partisan issue. This really is a moral question for all of us. Do we care for each other? When we think about our family members, and this is what sticks in my craw so much, is that I know those House members that voted for Trump Care have to have family members with pre-existing conditions. And for them to wall off their personal instinct towards caring for people that they care about from their policy choice to eviscerate protections for those very same people really is difficult for me to swallow. Now this bill goes to the Senate. But before then, today we will have a CBO score, and it will tell us, we don't know exactly how many tens of millions will suffer. CBO will inform us of their best predictions. And there's a chance that they may have to vote on this again in the House. But one thing is for sure, it's that these protections for these individuals will be eviscerated. One last point. You have 13 men. You have 13 men who are by definition wealthy. Some of them don't think they're wealthy. But if you make $174,000 a year, you are doing just fine. If you have health care, you are doing just fine. You have 13 Republican men who are in secret deliberating over the future of these individuals. And so all I am asking is let's have a hearing. Let's hear from health policy experts. Let's hear from people who are impacted by this legislation. Let's have a discussion in the light of day. And if they are confident in their position, they will subject it to the sunshine. I would like to, first of all, thank all the families for being here. And I think at this time, I'll introduce Christine Remy, the mother of Sabrina, a cancer survivor.
If you guys are just joining us, you're watching Senate Democrats address the media and other families. You can see here families with young children about health care and about how it can affect certain people with certain conditions. So we're going to listen in here. And thanks for watching, guys. Caitlin from the UK and Justin, thanks for checking in with us today on our stream. Take a listen.
Our family and her medical team fought this cancer through chemotherapy, multiple surgeries, and at one point, 37 consecutive nights in a hospital in another state, 5 hours from our home. Like all other families of children with cancer, we were fighting for the chance to give Sabrina a normal life. Our wish was that someday she could pursue her dreams, the career she wanted, the family she wanted, and she could live where she wanted. The great majority of children with childhood cancer, even those who are deemed cured, continue to have significant health issues throughout their entire lives. So we were comforted by the fact that the Affordable Care Act protected Sabrina from discrimination by insurance companies due to her pre-existing medical conditions. We were also relieved during last year's presidential campaign when both candidates assured the American people that they also would protect the millions of children with childhood cancer and other diseases from discrimination based on pre-existing medical conditions. President Trump made this promise again and again, and now, less than 6 months in, he's breaking it. If the AHCA becomes law, Sabrina and millions of other children and families may face a future where they cannot obtain quality health insurance and where they will constantly have to worry about whether they will be denied insurance if they change jobs or move to another state. I doubt that any member of Congress who voted for the AHCA would be willing to give up their health insurance to be dumped into a so-called high-risk pool. But they don't have to worry about that because their federal health insurance covers pre-existing conditions. While they protect themselves, millions of children and their families stand to suffer a lifetime of fear, doubt, and lost opportunities. Protecting children like my daughter from discrimination based on pre-existing conditions is supported by the overwhelming majority of voting Americans. More importantly, though, it's the right moral choice. Through countless tears and sleepless nights, we prayed for God to save our little girl's life. Now I would ask every member of the United States Senate to protect her future and the futures of children like her by rejecting any legislation that does not unequivocally prohibit insurance companies from denying them coverage based on pre-existing conditions. Being told your child has cancer is absolutely devastating. Being told you can no longer secure affordable quality health insurance for that child is unacceptable, and our children deserve better. Thank you.
We're going to let all of the parents introduce the kids and say a word or two, but let me first call on Michael Pernick, who's with the Adult Congenital Heart Association.
Thank you, Senator. Hello, my name is Michael Pernick. I'm from Long Island. I was born with a congenital heart defect called tetralogy of Fallot. You may have heard of it. It's the same heart defect that Jimmy Kimmel's son, Billy, was born with. I've had 3 open heart surgeries so far. The first 2 when I was a baby, and the third when I was 22 years old. And despite successful surgeries, folks like me are never actually fixed. We face a lifetime of complications that require highly specialized expert care. As one example, a few years ago, I had a serious near-fatal infection in my heart. I also anticipate needing additional surgeries as I continue to grow older. But in spite of these challenges, I consider myself one of the lucky ones. I have a rewarding career as an attorney in New York, and I have access to top-notch health insurance and health care. I also serve on the board of directors of the Adult Congenital Heart Association, the leading nonprofit in the country fighting for the millions of Americans who were born with congenital heart defects, or CHDs. My survival, and the survival of the millions like me, depends on access to affordable, quality care. That's why the House repeal bill terrifies me and terrifies my family, and quite frankly, it should terrify all Americans. There are a lot of issues with this bill, but I want to take a moment to speak about just one issue that's gone largely unreported: the redefinition of essential health benefits, or EHBs. The House repeal bill will allow states to apply for waivers to redefine what qualifies as an EHB. This is intended to give plans more flexibility, but it will just lead to skimpier coverage, and it will deny me and all other Americans like me with pre-existing conditions the comprehensive set of benefits that we need in order to survive. Even more dangerous, because the ban on lifetime and annual limits only applies to EHBs, if a state gets a waiver and narrows its definition of EHBs, lifetime and annual limits will come back. What's even worse, under current regulations, large employers have the flexibility to set their plan rules based on any state's definition of EHBs. This means that the 110 million Americans who receive coverage from a large employer could be affected even if their state doesn't apply for the waiver. So what does this mean for me and the 2.4 million Americans with congenital heart disease? Well, any narrowing of EHBs related to hospitalization, access to specialists, rehab services, chronic disease management, and many other services would jeopardize our access to care. And since these services are extremely expensive, we would likely hit our annual or lifetime caps if they were reinstituted. I was born with a heart defect. That wasn't my fault. I play by the rules, I do the right thing, but for me and the millions of Americans like me, this bill could leave us high and dry the moment our medical care gets too expensive. Senators, I am under attack. People who have CHDs or other pre-existing conditions are under attack. In fact, all Americans are under attack. I know that you're standing up for us, and for that, thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Sydney, you want to bring your mom up here?
Hi, my name's Carla Belcher, and this is Sydney. Sydney was diagnosed with infantile leukemia at the age of 6 months old. She had 2 years of intensive chemo, and we lived in the hospital for the better part of those two years. She grew up in the hospital, and she has a very high rate of relapse in the next couple of years, and then an even higher rate of a secondary cancer coming back later in her life. So being able for her to have access to healthcare and affordable healthcare for the rest of her life is, it's not even an option for us. But she's doing really well right now, and we're grateful for that. But she will come with a lot of different struggles that she'll face from all the chemotherapy that she got later in life. So we'll be dealing with physical, mental, learning disabilities for years to come. So thank you.
Thank you. Taylor, you want to bring your mom?
Hello, my name's Amy, and this is my daughter, Taylor.
Taylor was diagnosed with high-risk neuroblastoma stage 4 when she was 18 months old. And like some of the other children here, went through extensive chemotherapy, surgeries, clinical 1 trials and 2 in other states. And she grew up in the hospital as well. She did very well. And then at age 5, because of the toxic treatments she received, she acquired MDS, which is a pre-leukemia. So it's a chemo-induced leukemia, effectively. So all those treatments she had received caused her to have a secondary cancer. And she underwent a bone marrow transplant from an anonymous donor who turns out to be from Texas. We did meet him. After that successful transplant, Taylor went into kidney failure. So she was in the hospital, again, for an extended period of time. She was under dialysis for a number of months. And here she is, 11 years old. She's in school. She's an avid soccer player, and she's a very active little girl. She's still under the care of many doctors. She has side effects. She has sensitive kidneys and sees a renal specialist. She's on hormone therapy. She sees cardiologists. She sees dermatologists. Who else? Neurologists. So there are a number of, she has a whole dental issue that she'll have to, that will be addressed as she grows older also because of radiation that she received to that area of her body. So she's not out of the woods. We have lots of care that is required for Taylor. I can't imagine what that would look like without insurance coverage. And I applaud you, senators, for working towards keeping something intact for our children as they grow up and look towards the future. Thank you.
Madison, want to bring your dad up?
Hello, everyone. I'm Edwin Garrett. This is my daughter, Madison Garrett. She, Madison was diagnosed with stage 4 high-risk neuroblastoma at the age of 3. She had a tumor in the size of her stomach, the size of a cantaloupe. And through many bouts with chemotherapy, radiation, surgery after surgery after surgery, months in the hospital getting stem cell transplants, she survived. She is now a 3-year in remission, been in remission for 3 years. And it's always ironic, not ironic, but it's always difficult for me to look and see other children that have gone through this and to think that that they battled, and we ask them to battle and fight to survive, and they go through all these treatments and they lose a part of their childhood, and their childhood is shaped totally differently than, they're so used to being in the hospital and things like that. We ask them to battle and fight and fight and fight. And then when they finish fighting, we tell them that, oh, healthcare is not for you. It's for people who are healthy. You know, you've already won your battle. So now we'll just, kind of put you in a pool, a high risk pool or whatever. You can't have health insurance. So if something else happens, or your parents want to change their job, or and you lose your insurance, sorry. And that to me just doesn't sound right. I'm a special educator. I teach children with profound emotional disabilities, and one of the things I always teach them is when you're about to make a statement or do something, think about it, talk through it, and listen to it. Does it sound right? So I kind of, and not to insult any congressmen or senators, but I kind of asked them to do the same thing. If you're hear what I just said, or just think about it. A child's battled for years, spent years in the hospital, fighting something that they didn't ask for, they didn't want, and then you tell them, oh, well, you can't have health insurance. We're glad you're okay. We prayed for you. We stood in front of cameras and said how horrible it is, but now, oh well. I'd ask them to talk that through in their head and then make their decision on how they want to vote.
So a really interesting appeal from lots of the parents of these kids with these chronic illnesses and diseases. And we don't see this a lot. It's very compelling and somewhat emotional to see these Senate Democrats make their case and then bring up these families with these children. I thought that was really interesting to watch, actually. So that's going on live right now on the Hill. We're slowly rolling out of that, actually, to bring you some other news. Let's go back locally to we all know we've been covering the stabbing and killing of Second Lieutenant in the Army, Richard Collins III. He was set to graduate from Bowie State University just yesterday. We streamed that graduation live, the entirety of it. And today there was a moment of reflection on the University of Maryland campus. We're going to go over there right now live. Our photojournalist Chip is there getting that live coverage.
We have a whole line that's trying to still get in, and we're ready to start the program. Keep asking to move in as we have a line of people still trying to get in.
Greetings of peace. My name is Tarif Shraim. I am the Muslim chaplain here at the University of Maryland. And on behalf of our university chaplains, many of whom are here with us by my side, I'd like to welcome all of you and thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to be with us today. Also wish to express our gratitude and sense of appreciation for having with us our university president, Dr. Lowe, and also Dr. Artie Travis, Vice President of Student Affairs at Bowie State University. Today we gather here as brothers and sisters to remember a very dear and precious soul, Second Lieutenant Richard Collins, who was brutally killed last Saturday. We are here to honor the life and memory of this extraordinary young man, to give our support and stand in solidarity with his family, friends, and the entire Bowie State University community. With all the pain in our hearts, all the aches, all the hurt, we're here to grieve together, to hold each other in affection and love, to reflect, to seek healing, and to seek solace, and to pray like we've never prayed. And now we'll have the posting of colors by the honor guard.
Right shoulder. Forward. Colors. Colors, start. Breathe, set. Right shoulder. Colors. Colors, start. Guard. Halt. Order. Ready. Cut. Fall out.
On a spot not distant from where we are not right now, the life of an honorable young man, Second Lieutenant Richard Collins, came to a sudden end and was brutally taken away from us last Saturday. Today we come to remember this extraordinary young man, the extraordinary life he lived, and his legacy. As we stand here today, let us remember Lieutenant Collins, not just for the way his life was abruptly ended, but also for the gratitude, beauty, smiles, integrity, and excellence with which he lived his life. Those who know Lieutenant Collins describe him so passionately as a gifted, wonderful, brilliant, not just smart, but brilliant and funny young man. He was an outstanding human being, an inspiring young man who deeply touched the souls of people around him and put smiles on their faces. This man, my dear brothers and sisters, was a good man, and he brought a lot of good to this earth. Oh, our dear brother Richard, sure, your physical body has succumbed to a vicious act of hate and violence, but your vast soul lives on, eternally perfuming our minds, hearts, and souls with your beautiful memory, with your goodness, and your compassion. Your body lies silent, but your beautiful soul speaks to all of us in melodious chants and tunes of an inspiring story. Your story reminds us and summons us towards beauty, towards care and compassion, to integrity and honor, to service and sacrifice, to living for a purpose bigger than ourselves. You inspire us. You have departed, but your extraordinary life has surely left its inspiring mark on all of our hearts and all of our souls. So know, your life has not ended, for your soul lives on and continues to touch all of us. May you rest in peace, for you have indeed walked on this earth a gentle and peaceful walk. May your family, friends, and the entire community of Bowie State University find healing and solace, and may they find the strength and endurance to bear the enormous pains of your loss. Indeed, with the death of Lieutenant Collins, a precious part in each of us has died. Each time an innocent soul is taken away, a precious part in each of us dies. So what can possibly restore us right now? What can revive us? And what can heal us with all of this loss and all of this grief? How can we find meaning behind all of this pain and anguish? This pain is so real, my dear brothers and sisters. And no words can describe the pain, anguish, hurt, and perhaps the anger that fills our hearts. As we stand here today, let us remember that goodness, strength, and meaning can still come out of enormous trials in life, out of our pains, our losses, and hardships. You and I may not see or feel that right now, but let us be patient, for time shall make all things clear. Let us remember today that while human beings are capable of so much hate, violence, and perversion, that at our core, at our essence, every one of us is a vast giving spirit, endowed with so much capacity for compassion, for beauty, and for healing, that each of us holds inside the seeds of joy, healing, and growth, that we have so much potential to heal and transform not only ourselves, but also those around us. So whenever we experience a heart-wrenching trial in our lives, let us remember that we always have not only the capacity, but the choice to elicit within us that which brings life and healing to ourselves and those around us. To elicit the spark within us to do what makes us truly human and truly good. To use our gifts to raise people up, to wipe the tears, to produce the smiles, to lift the fallen and heal the broken. What's amazing is that when you and I fill our lives with compassion, with care and hope, we'll surely be inspired, and others will surely be inspired to follow us. Lieutenant Collins walked this path and inspired us with his life. I would imagine that this would be the walk that he wishes for all of us to walk during our short-lived lives today before tomorrow. May we find the strength to draw out from within ourselves that which is most beautiful, most vibrant, most peaceful, and most life-affirming, for the sake of our broken world and communities, and for the sake of our broken hearts. May all of our hearts find solace and healing today. Amen. Dear brothers, dear sisters, dear honorable guests, as we leave today, let us find strength and renewal in our silent reflection, in our prayers, or our meditation. Let us find comfort in the company of our closest friends, family, and community. Let us continue to pray and keep vigil for Lieutenant Collins, for his family and friends and community, for all the deceased and injured, of all acts of hatred, violence, and the families who buried them or remain caring for them. Let us stand up with tears in our eyes and say, my life is too short to hate or feel anger. My heart is filled with pain, but I will not bring more darkness into a world already filled with so much hate. I'm going to dedicate my life to work tirelessly to bring the light of compassion and healing into this wounded, hurting world. May our hearts find solace, and may our hearts find healing today. May we use all of our gifts not only to experience personal growth and healing, but also to give that growth and healing to others. May we forever remember that nothing will last like the most beautiful flowering tree. That the thing that lasts is the story and the mark that you leave behind. May we live every day as if it's our last day. May we live gratefully, and may every person we meet be enriched by our eyes, smiles, touch, and grateful presence. Amen. In conclusion, brothers and sisters, wish to remind you that you may place your flowers anywhere you wish, including in this labyrinth, or you can keep for memory. There are also journals placed throughout this garden for you to write your reflections if you wish. Please also know that we have the counseling center here. We have our chaplains for students and staff if you wish to speak with them. And finally, in a few moments, some of us will be walking to the bus stop where Lieutenant Collins was killed. You're invited to join us for this walk and to also place your flower there if you wish. Thank you very much. May all of you be blessed. We'll be meeting at the front steps right here, and we'll be taking off for the walk to the bus stop. Denise. We have with us Ian Sloan, a close friend of Richard. He wishes to share some words.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are honoring an old friend of mine who I've known since I was 14, and we went to school together from 9th grade to 11th grade. And I gotta say, knowing him back then, I never thought I knew a guy who had so much humor and so much wittiness and so much joy that he wanted to give to people. And it was truly a blessing to even see that years later when we reconnected my senior year here at University of Maryland. And it was just he just wanted to just reach out to me and tell me that he was in the area, and I was excited because I'm like, who wouldn't want to see Richard Collins? Who wouldn't want to see a guy who was authentic and original, and again, just wanted to bring so much joy to people? And I understand that some people are very frustrated by the fact that this is possibly hate crime. This is possibly something that has extreme severity on the racial aspect. But if we can do our best to focus on honoring the fact that he was a man full of joy, so we need to live our life full of joy. His family, particularly his sister he was close to, and I knew her for many years as well. And we need to make sure that we hope that they continue to heal through the process. Just like how we're healing through our process, it's important that we pray for them. And lastly, to continue to have compassion for others, because that's something that he just consistently did. For the last 9 years of knowing him, that's what he did. And if we can continue to do that, then surely we will truly honor him. And lastly, I want to say, it's truly a blessing to have people from different sides, Bowie State and UMD, to show how much impact Richard had, to show how much love and compassion he had for others, to see that we all have this common theme, and that is we saw that Richard was someone who wanted to make sure that other people around him felt happy as he continued to excel in the ROTC program at Bowie State. So I appreciate the fact of being here with all of you as we just unify by the one factor, and that is continue to cherish the good memories of him. And for those who didn't know him, I just gave you a piece of history of my relationship with him, and now you get to know him and through that way. So it's a blessing once again to be here to celebrate Richard, not to look like he died in vain. And justice will be served. It will be served. Thank you.
You just heard the words of a friend of Second Lieutenant Richard Collins III, who died in the stabbing and killing on the University of Maryland campus just a few days ago on May 20th. This, currently you're watching this live, a moment of reflection on the university campus here to honor him and his life. And take a look at this picture of the robe that was draped over his chair at Bowie State University. That was yesterday in honor of Richard Collins III here at that graduation ceremony that he was to walk in himself. I'm reading some of your comments here on Facebook, some of you watching our feed here. Toya says, deepest condolences to the family. The Black Alumni Terps stand in solidarity with your family along with so many others. And lots of other comments here, people shouting out from Jacksonville, Florida and elsewhere across the nation. My heart is saddened. Prayers to the family going to bring you back over to this shot of the robe draped over his chair at Bowie State University. So once again, this moment of reflection turning into now a walk over to the actual bus stop where this incident occurred to pay their respects to Richard Collins and him and his family and honor him on this day, on this moment of remembrance for the University of Maryland. Now, the president of the University of Maryland also tweeted out his condolences and wrote an email to the campus stating that he is vowing to keep the campus secure and also honoring Richard Collins himself as well in this email that went out to the whole campus that was on Twitter recently. So just a moment of reflection here for this second lieutenant. Very sad, somber event for the University of Maryland. Thanks, guys, for watching this live feed of this moment of reflection here on the University of Maryland campus. We are going to throw it back to the Capitol Dome. Join us on YouTube for more live events. All right, guys, we're back in studio here. We just pushed that to Facebook Live, so we wanted to come back to our YouTube channel. So thanks for watching on YouTube if you are joining us. A little bit of breaking news happening during that little moment of reflection that we had live coming in from the University of Maryland campus. Lots of stuff going on. I'm going to flash you over to Jakarta, Indonesia. It is nightfall there right now, and you can see it's dark. Not a lot of sort of good picture here. It's a dark cam, but we just heard about a bombing that occurred at a bus station in Jakarta, Indonesia. One police officer is dead, and we know 4 others are injured. 4 other people are injured in what looks like it could be a possible attack or explosion. There's not a lot of details out right now. In fact, I haven't even found out more details since this sort of broke out. But that's what it looks like over there in Jakarta, Indonesia. We're looking for some more pictures on Twitter. If you have any other information, chat us up or send it along. We're going to be trying to reach out to find some more information about this, but some very scary international news coming out of Jakarta, Indonesia. Also, concurrently, the Air Force Academy is graduating. This is a live picture over in Colorado Springs, Colorado, of the Air Force Academy's commencement ceremonies. Check that out.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining General Dunford on stage, to your left, Lieutenant General Michelle Johnson, Superintendent, United States Air Force Academy, and to your right, Brigadier General Kristen Goodwin, Commandant of Cadets, United States Air Force Academy.
Cadet Squadron 11, Nicholas James Accardi.
Amelia Rose Honor.
Brandon James Bradley.
Nicholas Christopher Carter.
Ryan Alexander Doucette.
Reagan Dion Fentress.
Tuatin Sarah Bassa.
Jacob David Goodwin.
Matthew Kenichi Hernandez.
Eric William Hoff.
Michael Joseph Johnson.
Zachary Akalina Kumai.
Matthew Jacob Crott.
Anna Grace Mayusi.
Chandler Suzanne Nan.
Joshua Blaine Osgard.
Hunter Brian Robinson.
Nolan Mitchell Sheehan.
Colleen Elizabeth Slane.
Andrew Chapman Steineman.
Samuel James Strongco.
Jordan Scott Weisman.
Valerie Raquel Westland.
Cadet Squadron 12, Ryan Patrick Andreu.
Samuel Allen Byers.
All right, guys, you're watching the live Air Force Academy graduation in Colorado Springs, but we have some other breaking news to show you. Now, this picture isn't very good, but I want to bring you this because it's relevant and it's happening right now. There is a suspected suicide bombing happened in Jakarta, Indonesia. We know, or we're hearing reports that one police officer is dead, 4 other people are injured, and that's all we know right now. This feed isn't that good. It's a little bit dark. You can see people. We saw stretchers earlier and officials bringing people off, I guess, the pavement on stretchers. This apparently happened at a bus station, some sort of blast. It's a blast scene at this bus terminal in the capital of Indonesia, Jakarta, where a policeman has died. And that's all we know really of that. We don't have a lot of more information. Our source actually just switched. If we find out more on that bombing in Jakarta, we'll let you guys know. We're also finding out some breaking news that in the Manchester bombing, they have arrested a 5th suspect. Is that correct?
Yeah, they've arrested a 5th suspect in connection with the bombing, and the younger brother of the bomber has also been arrested with potential ISIS ties, apparently. So
okay, so some new information coming out of Manchester.
Manchester.
Yeah, we were waiting on them to announce some more possible collusion or accomplices in that tragedy. So more information trickling in as we expected throughout the day about that. We were just fed some video. This is tape playback of President Trump here meeting with officials in Belgium. He's in Brussels to meet with NATO, and this looks like this is just sort of a press avail for pictures of this roundtable. We want to bring you back to that breaking news. Hopefully, if we get more on that, we'll keep our eye on some of the tweets coming out of that situation and keep you updated there. You are joining us on Fox 5 Live here in Washington, D.C. We're Fox 5 Local, bringing you local, or not local, but local and national and international live news and breaking events. This is President Trump. Let's listen into his roundtable here.
Had a great discussion.
Moments ago in Brussels.
And we will work together on various problems. Number one right now is terrorism. And we are fighting very hard, doing very well under our generals and making tremendous progress. But when you see something like happened 2 days ago, you realize how important it is to win this fight. And we will win this fight. It's a horrible situation. What took place is horrible, unthinkable, but we will win 100%.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's when I get it up. All right, so that's all we have of that feed, guys, of President Trump in Brussels. We're getting pieces in here and there of the last leg on his foreign trip. Now he's in Brussels a little bit longer, meeting with the Prime Minister of Brussels, and he met with the King of Belgium earlier today, and he'll be flying back to Italy, to southern Italy, to Sicily, for some follow-up there in Italy after having met with the Pope Francis, yesterday. We got feed of that in as well, or maybe that was early in the morning today. I'm actually not quite sure. Looks like we're getting this feedback of Indonesia, and it's stalled here. This is the video that we're looking at. Let's see if this comes back to us, because I would like to update everybody on what's happening there. If you're just joining us, we heard about a live blast scene in Jakarta, Indonesia. So we're getting just word from our box there that this source from APTN is giving us, this looks like a still shot right here. Hopefully this video will roll along. What we know is that there has been some sort of blast scene at a bus terminal in the capital of Indonesia, Jakarta. One police officer is dead. We know that, and 4 other people are injured in this blast. We're trying to effort some more information on this as it trickles in, and we'll try to bring you some more updates as we have it. All right, guys, so you're looking at just a still shot picture. Oh, and it just went black. We don't have that feed up, so we're going to come back to the newsroom here. But we're hearing about this blast in Jakarta, Indonesia. I'm getting some more information about it. Apparently, 2 are dead in a blast scene in Jakarta, Indonesia, according to police, that there were 2 blasts that went off 5 minutes apart. Some people, including officers, have been wounded and been taken to a nearby hospital. TV reports are saying different things over there, so we're going to wait until we know more from that scene in Jakarta, but very low, not a lot of information coming out of this right now, but we'll keep watching it for more. Another live feed that we're getting in is the graduation ceremony in Colorado Springs. This is the Air Force Academy. They are graduating today, the 2017 cadets, the class. Let's take a listen there.
Adrian Ariel Kiriak.
Bradley Hayden Diaz.
Taylor Joseph Germain.
Youngjun Daniel Kim.
Zachary Adam Kanoki.
Alexis Kronberger.
Joshua Robert Leonard.
Callie J. Leonard.
Curtis Anthony Lee.
Madison Jean Martin.
Genevieve Miller.
Mitchell Joseph Miller.
Peter Fitzgerald Murray.
Naji Imike Omenye.
Preston Dwayne Peterson.
Carlos Andres Palazas.
Alexander James Viveris.
Justin Donald Weber.
The number 1 cadet in athletic performance, John William Preston Wells.
Hannah Lynn Wilkin.
Grayson Patrick Zuber.
Cadet Squadron 16, Andrew Joseph Butler.
Kristen Eve Chapman.
Mitchell Reed Koshel.
Noah Augustus Davis.
Michael Alexander D'Souza.
Haji Hassani Dunn Jr.
Kevin Scott Fanter.
D. Evan Grimes.
Justin Brett Jones.
Caleb Weiss Kiso.
So Hyun Kim.
Andrew Stephen Klinger.
Robert Rodbeck Lansing.
Dylan Mitchell Lanius.
Catherine Ann Leo.
Gareth Thomas Price.
George Jake Provost.
Anthony Ernest Robolo IV.
Riley Jane Richards.
Vanessa Olivia Unseth.
Dalton Michael Welch.
Leah Nicole Young.
Cadet Squadron 17. Jacinia Melissa Bennett.
Kyle Patrick Brandt.
Sean Patrick Keith Christo.
Meredith Rose Daniels.
Lachlan Holm Deeks.
Joseph Christopher Erdy.
Ryan Thomas Graff.
Peter Maxwell Hahn.
Holly Shi-Young Harness.
Santos Jayagopal.
Jake Edward Keatinger.
Austin Sabine Kong.
Adam Scott Lee.
Emmeline Claire Lockmeyer.
Jacob Logan Martin.
Brent Anthony Mathern.
Patrick Dean Mudd.
Laura Elaine Olson.
Joseph Hisu Peng.
Alan DeWitt Reed Jr.
Stephanie Ford Robb.
Brian Dean Sartz.
Vincente Armando Tejas.
Evan Christopher West.
Cadet Squadron 18.
If you guys are joining us, we're getting in this live feed of the Air Force Academy's commencement ceremony in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So that's what you're watching right here. This is live. Looks like a beautiful day over there, and we're getting it in now. Also shortly, stay with us for some more coverage, of course, of updates about the Manchester tragedy. As we get new information in, we'll keep you guys updated. And this suspected suicide bombing in Jakarta. We're just hearing very initial reports now of possibly 2 bombs that went off near a bus terminal in the capital of Indonesia. We'll keep updating you guys as we have more information on that. So stay with us. Also, over locally, we're going to get a little Blue Angels display. The Blue Angels are going up over near the United States Naval Academy near Annapolis and over the Severn River there in Maryland. So we're going to get a little show from our chopper feed coming up at 2 o'clock. So stay with us for that. Don't miss it. We're going to keep it here and then bring you over to that chopper feed shortly. Let us know what you're thinking in the comments. Chat with us. We're Fox 5 Live. You can get at us at our handle, Fox 5 DC, on all platforms. So don't forget to engage with us there on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and right here on this YouTube chat as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll leave it here. We'll go up with the Blue Angels shortly with our chopper.
Luzada.
Sarah Catherine McKinnon.
Agnes Mutani.
Christian Joseph Nauman.
Raymond James Pernicaro.
Benjamin Grant Protzman.
Kira Brianne Schlossberg.
Charles Z. Sieber.
Jared Charles Smithson.
Michael Dean Stenger.
Joshua Renee Valenciano.
Cadet Squadron 19. William Kyle Applett.
Luke Addison Brown.
Cody Allen Byford.
Justin Thomas Caldwell.
Michael Paul Elbogan.
Taylor Apea Air.
Austin Wilder Garcia.
Andrew Gregory Geekus.
Jordan Robert Hanlon.
Oliver Scott Harrison.
Nathaniel Howard Kendrick.
Hunter Reed Lewis.
Callum Fritz Long.
Eleanor Marie Masser.
Andrew Gordon Mayercheck.
Benjamin Shoichi Mayota.
Bailey Nicole Moreland.
Kyle Michael Pater.
Philip Douglas Smart.
Joe Tan.
Michael Wormuth.
Cadet Squadron 20. Jabron Hassan Assad.
Samantha Jane Cabasora.
Seth Robert Carosa.
Cody Lee Davis.
Matthew Scott Dorsey.
Nicholas Robert Featherston.
Lily Alexandra Forlini.
Connor Arturo Gonzalez.
Nicholas Alexander Heth.
Zachary James Walter Hevel.
Zachary James Coker.
All right, guys, as you watch this commencement ceremony for the Air Force, check out this tweet from the Blue Angels. They're coming up next. We're going to have it live in the skies over Annapolis, Maryland. People are in town getting ready for the Naval Academy graduation. So not the Air Force. This is the Air Force now. Naval Academy graduation is this weekend. And here's the tweet. Blue Angels, get pumped, Annapolis. Your Blue Angels are ready to rock your skies. There was a preview of the Blue Angels yesterday, even amidst cloudy skies. Some spectators were able to catch them flying out and practicing for this performance, which we'll have via chopper a video at 2 o'clock. So stay with us for that.
Michaela Renee Robertson.
Brendan Tyler Sands.
Megan Michelle Shank.
Grant Donald Starr.
Ashley Marie Torres.
Daniel Emil Weiss.
Well,
Put sunscreen on. Put sunscreen on. I knew that kid when he was in high school. Ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, joining General Dunford on stage, to your left, Brigadier General Andrew Armacost, Dean of the Faculty, United States Air Force Academy, and to your right, Mr. James Knowlton, Director of Athletics, United States Air Force Academy.
Cadet Squadron 21. Austin Maxwell Anderson.
Peter Aaron Berenger.
Drew Quinton Broadbent.
Michael Paul Ebert.
Morgan Leanne Fagnet.
Alexandra Jane Feliz.
Darby Diane Germain.
Taylor Matthew Hulslander.
Montreal Johnson.
Charles Alexander Keller Alvarado.
Holly May Martin.
Haley Don Merrill.
Jezarvin Keha Ramil.
Mitchell Adam Rose.
Amanda Marie Smith.
Zachariah DeVere Sparrow.
Weston Garrett Steelhammer.
Glenn Anthony Taylor.
Christopher Thomas Bolesek.
William Cody Vaughn.
Jesse Anthony Washington.
Caleb David Winningham.
Maya Halo Lalo Maki Aloha Woody.
Cadet Squadron 22, Ellen Ashley Berry.
Casey Alexander Bull.
All right, guys, coming up next on our air, we jumped out of the feed from the Air Force. This is the gear up for our chopper feed of the Blue Angels performance. Super excited to see that. The Navy and Marines joined together there in the flight squadron of the U.S. Navy, and they will be flying away, showing us that performance over the river here in Annapolis. But first, before we go there, because we're going to keep an eye on when that starts, check this out. Breaking news in Huntington, New York. We just heard about this. Actually, Cameron was giving me the information. Some worker fell in some type of cesspool, and we don't have a ton of info on that, but we're efforting that for you guys. That's what you're looking at right here. It looks like aerial footage of a worker who has fallen into some hole or pool. Looks like they're working to get him out in some way. Yeah. No sound on this one, but some type of worker accident. We'll get more information for you guys when we find that out. Meanwhile, over in D.C., House Democrats are getting ready to make a little statement, and they're outside the Capitol. Check out this feed. Getting ready to speak here. We'll see what they are talking about shortly over here in Washington, Capitol Hill.
There's not many of us.
I know.
All right, guys, we're finding out a little more about what this scene is. This is Huntington, Long Island, where a worker has fallen into an underground container for waste and sewage, some sort of cesspool hole here, which sounds terrifying and disgusting, but that's sort of what happened. There looks like they're working to get him out of that. We're getting this feed in from New York. Again, this is Long Island, where a worker has fallen. They have some cranes working to get this guy out. Some other apparatus, it looks like. And that's all we know for now, right? That's all we're looking at. So Fox 5 New York has been giving us some information on that. A worker has fallen in, and these are the aerial pictures, excuse me, of the scene. Quite a big dirt mound there next to it too. So I'm not sure what that exactly indicates, but That's what we know right now. And for those of you joining us and chatting in about the Jakarta bombing, thanks for the details here. If you're watching from over there or wherever you are, let us know in the comments. And thanks for those details. We've been looking up some information just to keep up to date on this apparent blast in a bombing in Jakarta. 2 are dead in a suspected suicide bombing over there. We did not get any more footage of that in, but we're going to keep our eye on that part of the world and the media surrounding that to get more information on those attacks. So we're going to bring it out of this accident here in New York, back over to the Hill, where we see people gathering outside the Capitol, where the House Democrats are going to be making a statement shortly. Guys, we have the Blue Angels coming up. Let's bring those in. Here we go. Blue Angels over Annapolis. All right, guys, if you're joining us, thanks for watching this feed. This is our chopper video of the Blue Angels over Annapolis, Maryland. Look at that gorgeous shot over that harbor. They're flying over the Severn River there, gearing up, of course, for the U.S. Naval Academy graduation that's taking place this weekend. And this is the Blue Angels. They're a classic old flight squadron from the U.S. Navy. They're a mixture of the Navy and Marines as well that fly in this pattern. And Cameron here, you have a little bit of experience knowing about this.
Yeah, my uncle actually is not piloted, but got the opportunity to sit in one of the planes during a performance probably 5 years ago. And,
wow.
You know, they and you can see a little bit from that shot there. They just they just fly so close together. So you said that you're within 15 to 10 feet of the next plane over sometimes, which is absolutely incredible when you think about how fast these planes are going and how close they are. And the margin for error there is just absolutely minuscule.
Exactly, and it's a rough feed here. We're getting a little bit of a cloudy sky, of course, because it's cloudy out and it's been hard. We weren't even sure, if they'd be able to go up, but we know that yesterday they were able to have a practice round and get up there in the skies for people to see. And there were some spectators that were able to join along on that practice yesterday. But like Cameron was saying, they fly only about 10 to 15 feet apart. It's crazy, and they're so skilled. They're so in unison. I remember seeing them as a kid. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them. Comment below if you have, or any thoughts on this, if you've been able to see them wherever they are. They perform about 70 performances like this in a year at about 30 or 35 different locations is what I was reading. So they're just gorgeous, and definitely a classic old U.S. Navy Marine sort of figure. There they are with the smoke coming out the back, making their patterns.
Look at how close they are there. You can see just such a tight diamond right there.
Yeah, tight diamond, exactly. And when they kind of turn on their side, you can even see even better just how close that angle is of these 4 planes. And just a gorgeous shot there from our chopper over that harbor. This is in Annapolis, Maryland, over the Severn River. And people are in town. There's a good shot. That sideways angle. People are in town for the Naval Academy's graduation this weekend. Look at that. That's an awesome silhouette shot. Thanks for your comments, guys. If you're watching on Facebook, comment below. I'm seeing a lot of beautiful comments, and I love watching them perform. Georgine says that. Sometimes they're only 6 feet apart, is what Mark Mangus Sr. says. That might be a right stat. I didn't know that. We were thinking about 10 or 15. We weren't sure. Someone's asking about the graduation. Yeah, the graduation is later this weekend, so it's this week. We brought some of the classic sort of ceremonious events from the Naval Academy this week, including the Herndon Monument Climb. It's a classic event for the plebes to become no longer plebes, and they had to climb this monument that was covered in grease on the campus of the Naval Academy. So lots of just traditional ceremonious things happening for the Naval Academy. This is a great shot. That is just gorgeous. Yeah, and I'm seeing Susan Mary, you're saying you love the show. You're in Fort Lauderdale, or maybe you've seen them in Fort Lauderdale, want to see them again. Other people saying it's an awesome view. It is really cool. I'm impressed that the chopper feed can get this angle and sort of stay even amongst the clouds. I guess it wasn't, oh, look at that spin. That's awesome. I love it. And the smoke that it lets off kind of shows even more of that shape and that excitement.
Quite a show for all the boats out there. Casual sail.
Oh yeah, definitely a show for the boats. There's people in their harbor. They probably knew this was coming. This is a 2:00 performance that was planned all week, and I remember they were questioning if this was going to work because of the clouds today. And it is a little cloudy. There's in that feed, but that's such a beautiful shot, even with the clouds. So uniformed. I'm seeing lots of comments. Awesome performance. Amazing job.
And the clouds are probably making it even harder for the pilots themselves because as the visibility decreases for us, it also decreases for them. And when you're working with such a tight margin of error as they are, it's even tougher. It just shows the skill.
Yeah.
The precision of these pilots.
Oh, definitely. It's got to be, like you were saying, it's got to be hard for them. We don't know the nuance of like what it's like to be in there. But has your uncle given any insight of that ride?
Yeah, I mean, he is a pilot, but he said, I could never do anything close to this. It
Really?
was absolutely remarkable. I mean, you're rocking up to six, only 6 feet as we got from the comments. So that's just imagine driving a car down the highway, and that's hard enough, and all of a sudden you've got a plane, and you're going hundreds of miles an hour, and you got smoke, and you're doing twists in the air instead of just driving straight. So,
Right.
Just
Isn't that
absolutely
wild?
incredible.
Oh, that shot is gorgeous. Look at those, the silhouette, that dark silhouette from the four of them there. And actually what's interesting, I was reading about this, it's U.S. Navy Marines that make up these pilots. And for a long time, they started in 1946, so an old traditional group. And for a long time, of course, they started out only male pilots.
Yeah.
And actually the first female pilot joined the Blue Angels in 2014. So that's really cool, I thought. Neat little stat. I wonder if she's up there right now. I don't know. Glad you guys are enjoying the view. I'm seeing some comments here on Facebook. Maybe some of you are seeing them from your house. That's awesome. Thanks for shouting out that you like this view. It's so gorgeous there over the harbor. And it looks like one of them branched off. Oh wait, it came in. I'm not exactly sure how this all goes, but or even how long this performance goes on for. If anybody knows, let us know more about what you know about the Blue Angels. I was saying before, I remember seeing them as kids. Our parents brought us out to, the tip of the point on the beach to see them when they came to Newport, Rhode Island. That's where I saw them. And they do about 70 shows per year. So that's it's kind of a feat. It's definitely a cool, they get to practice. They have practice sessions and everything. So I'm reading the performance. I'm just getting word from our assignment desk. It's only about 15 minutes, so it looks like it's not going to stay up maybe much longer. We've had them on just for a little bit, maybe about 5 minutes longer. So they do their thing and then they get out of there. But looking a little cloudier here now from this view. Yeah, it looks like I'm seeing comments. It looks like there are 5 of them. Either this is one that came in.
Yeah, I think
okay.
this one came in. So I'm not sure if it was already up there and our cameras hadn't been on beforehand, or if it was scheduled to join.
Yeah, and thanks guys for joining us here on the feed and chatting along with us. I'm Molly and this is intern Cameron. Yeah. He has some insight into the Blue Angels when his uncle was able to go up into, to take a ride. His uncle was a pilot. This is a cool solo shot of the two sort of side by side, and when they make those turns, that's where you can really see the view and what's going on with that gorgeous silhouette. Congratulations to the graduates. I'm seeing lots of comments there. the U.S. Naval Academy graduates, they graduate this weekend. So people are in town for that, and they get to see this spectacle in advance of that today. This was planned out, so we knew this was coming Wednesday, and they actually had a little bit of a practice yesterday, Tuesday, that some people got to see as well. I'm liking these comments, guys. Thanks for joining us. Whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can check out this feed from our chopper that we're getting in live over the Severn River in Annapolis. Charles Clausel says, Semper Fly. I like that pun. Nice one. Good one. This Navy veteran has goosebumps. Oh, cool to see the Navy vets coming out to chat. Look at that. We got another cut of that shot, and there they are. It's a little bit more separate. And they come back together. Is that what happens? It's like it's a whole performance. So they have this routine set up, and it's it's all choreographed. It's got to be very exact. Like we were saying, we had one viewer tell us that they can be even just 6 feet apart. We were thinking around 10 to 15 feet apart, but when they turn sideways, you can see that distance even more clearly.
So it seems they have up to 6 planes in the air now, so 2 going the other direction, with 4 coming across. So
right.
It would be really cool to see, all 6 at the same time. That's impossible for a camera to grab all at the same time. But
right.
Which is why, if you ever have an opportunity to see the Blue Angels in person, look at that separation there. They've got to be right on top of each other.
Look at that stack. That's so perfect. Yeah, I don't know where the other 2 went, but I know we saw those other 2. That would be amazing to see the 6 of them conjoined together. But the 4, the classic 4, there they go together. There's smoke over that harbor. I love it. It's entertainment just as much as it is sport, just as much as it is, military honor. Really, the Blue Angels. A celebration, getting ready for the graduation. And this is a cool show. Even for us in the studio, we're excited to watch this. So glad our chopper could grab this. I'm seeing some more comments here, letting the Blue Angels do their thing. Awesome, guys. Looks like we only have a few more minutes of this. They're supposed to be only up for about 15 minutes, so we'll see how long they stay on with us. Looks like some of our viewers have seen them at Andrews Air Force Base and elsewhere. Let us know, comment below where you've seen them or what you think about them if you've seen them. There's a great close-up of these silhouettes there. Good shot even in these cloudy skies today.
Very close to the chopper.
Yeah, that's a great shot. You can even see the writing on the bottom there. I'm leaning in here to see. That's a great shot. Our chopper is pretty close.
Navy, I think,
yeah. I love it when they get from behind. You can just see that light, that sliver of the airplane wings there. Great shot here. So just to recap, we're getting ready for the U.S. Naval Academy's graduation this weekend. The Air Force Academy graduated today. We had that live on our feed as well over on YouTube. And lots of ceremony and pomp and circumstance surrounding all these military graduations, of course, that we try to grab as we have them. And this is part of the celebration of the U.S. Naval Academy's graduation, which is coming up. So lots of people in town to maybe see their family member graduate, and they get this spectacle in the middle of the week here, Wednesday, in advance of that graduation over in Annapolis. And this is right there in Annapolis, over the Severn River, there in Annapolis, Maryland. Heading out into the clouds now here, getting a little more cloudy in our feed. Seeing some more people here comment. Some people have seen them in Fort Lauderdale in the air show. I remember seeing an air show as well as a kid, so that's definitely familiar to me. Another person said it's been a long time since I've seen them. Every year for 10 years, love them. Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. We're so happy to bring this to you guys live, to get our chopper up there, even in these cloudy skies here. But pretty clear, not bad. Impressed. Looks like we might be out of view. We're not sure.
They went up into the clouds.
Maybe they roll out. We're not sure. Let's see. We'll stay on this longer. Awesome. Cool. Great to hear from you guys. Marisol in Cleveland, Ohio. Pam, nice to hear from you. Thanks for checking in with us. And Tracy in South Carolina. This is a great show for people. You can see it, here on our feed, wherever you are. It's cool that they're local right here in England.
Yeah, very convenient for us. But anytime that they visit anywhere close, I know that they do shows all over the country. So
right.
If you have the opportunity to, strongly recommend going to see a show in person. Seeing the planes are even more impressive when you get that angle on it.
Yeah, they are more impressive. And it's loud, isn't it?
Loud,
I remember that.
And honestly, that adds to it somewhat. Just the intensity of the moment.
Oh, totally.
You really get a good perspective on just how tough it is, exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, great point. It does give you more of that sort of rush and that emotion to hear the noise from the ground. Thanks for watching, guys. Sherry from Stafford, Virginia. Thanks for checking in. Paul, love the Blue Angels. They're so great. I don't know if we've lost, I keep thinking we do, but they just kind of disappear into the clouds momentarily. And then they're back. You get that one that branched off. Maybe two, but again, this is a time-old tradition, of course, for the U.S. Navy and Marines. Started in 1946. There they are, the four together. So close in distance. If you know more and you want to share, feel free to comment below on our feed. Yeah, Susan says nothing like the loud noise. You leave there wanting to join the Navy. Gwen, watching from Washington, thanks for checking in. Super cool. I love this view too. This is really great. I mean, we're really lucky that our choppers can do that. They can get that close and it's up that high. Some cool sort of wide shot views and then some close-ups of the harbor, or wide shot of the harbor and then closer in on the four themselves. I do wonder what it's like to be on the ground watching this versus sort of up in the air, which is an amazing view, but it's definitely different from the ground. Loretta from Charlotte Hall, Maryland. Thanks for joining us on our feed. Stephen from Delaware. Cool, guys. It's great to see everybody from all over checking in here with us. The Blue Angels actually tweeted this out right before they went up, just about 30 minutes ago, and they were saying, "Get pumped, Annapolis, we're coming for you." And that's what they did. The Blue Angels ready to rock the skies. Check out that shot. I love that with the bridges.
Yeah, I know. And they're look at that. They're
awesome.
Crossing over each other.
Oh yeah, we'll take us off here. We can get a bigger shot. That's cool. Really cool. Oh, I love the crosses. Isn't that neat?
Yeah, and you couldn't really tell from that angle there, but I'm sure that they were mere feet away from each other on that cross.
Oh yeah. Love these comments, guys. Proud to be an American, watching Facebook Live from Andrews Air Force Base. Cool. You're actually watching this from where they often perform down there. That's awesome. You're getting this shot, guys, over the Severn River in Annapolis, Maryland, the Blue Angels performance here. It's supposed to only last about 15 minutes or so. We'll see how long we have them before they all taper off, and that will be the end of the show. But we got a great view, even amidst the clouds here, over the river in Annapolis, getting ready for the U.S. Naval Academy's graduation. Commencement ceremony is coming up this weekend. Thanks for watching, guys. Tracy from Hagerstown, Maryland. Kathy saying, "Go Navy." Lots of great comments here. Oh, cool. Raphael, you saw them in Baltimore while working a few months ago. Let's see what else. We're looking at your comments, guys. They're rolling in fast. Air shows across America. The Blue Angels do about 70 a year. They practice together, and this is one of them right here, this air show in Annapolis. Looks like they're coming all back together one more time. Cameron, for the people just joining us, you want to share that story about your uncle one more time?
Yeah, so my uncle was actually in the Navy. He's a pilot. He had the opportunity to sit inside one of the planes, not pilot one of the Blue Angels planes, but sit in the cockpit in the back during a show one time, and he said it was hands down one of the coolest experiences that he's ever had. He felt like he could reach out and touch the plane next to him. That's how close they are, and
Yeah.
you know, and this is a pilot in the Navy, and he said he would never in a million years be able to do half the things that these guys do, just with the precision and the accuracy that they do it with. You know, it's up to 70 times a year, which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's just no room for error in that formation there, and they just go out there and they do it, you know, perfectly every single time. It seems, which is absolutely amazing to me.
Yeah.
Just to show
It's incredible.
Of the might of the U.S. military and the skill that so many of the servicemen and women have.
Definitely. It's a really cool thing. Like I said, it's a mixture of entertainment with super skill. I remember being a kid and it was loud and they came low. I was nervous, I remember. It's different when you're smaller, I think, but they're loud.
I don't know how low they've gotten in this particular one, but I remember the same things. I know that at times they get, you know, what feels like right on top of you, especially with the noise and, you know, it's shaking the ground. And,
oh yeah.
You leave there, you know, wanting to be a pilot yourself.
You do, and that's what one of our viewers said.
The potential
They said it makes me want to join the Navy. We're getting some shout outs here from where you're watching from Maryland. Some others that were shouting out their nephew, I think, in the Navy. I missed that one, but let's see. Happy graduation to Navy. Yeah, just let us know in the comments below if you've seen them. Have you seen the Blue Angels? What you think about this air show now, or if you have any other connection to the U.S. Navy or Marines. We want to hear from you so we can shout it out here on Facebook. Thanks for watching from Maryland, Alice. Lots of viewers today on this show. So we're told they'll go just about 15, maybe 20 minutes. It's been about that. We'll see. They're about 20.
It's been about 20, so it might be close to the end, but we really know.
Yeah, you guys are watching. We're live in our digital newsroom here at Fox 5 DC, bringing you this live from our chopper feed over in Annapolis, Maryland. The chopper went up, was able to grab this show basically at that eye level, essentially.
Yeah, which is absolutely.
Yeah. So Jenny, you're asking, we don't have the sound because our sound is coming from inside the chopper, so we just have sort of nothing really in the background, just like a sort of a murmur of what it sounds like to get a chopper feed in. So we don't have the actual sound of the jets, of the planes. Yeah, shout outs here. Mark, proud Navy vet and son is Naval Air Crew. Shout out to your son and to you. And yeah, watching from Reston, Virginia. Ashley, nice to hear from you. Thanks for joining in on us, guys. We're getting a longer show than we expected, which is cool. And if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for joining us as well. Really cool, that precision, and you can see that closeness right here on this angle.
Yeah, look at that.
Even more so. That's amazing. I do think the sound adds to it a lot, I will say.
Definitely
It'd be
does.
nice to kind of be on the ground to see how that differs, or maybe even put them side by side to see what that sounds like or it looks like versus this. But hey, it's cool to be right there. Oh, there's the fifth one coming in.
Coming to join.
I love it. We'll see that sixth one, if we can get that sixth one in the shot. And the
Look at
fifth one
that.
just, there it is.
Look at that.
Comes on in the bottom, seamlessly surrounding. It looks like they'll make some sort of formation. Awesome, Tony, God bless the Navy. Thanks for shouting it out, guys. Watching from the boat every year, but you're not able to make it. Well, glad you could join us on this feed here. Yeah, Carolyn, Fox 5 Chopper doing a great job. Thanks for commenting on that. Our chopper is rocking this feed.
Look at that shot right there. The silhouettes against the
Oh, that's awesome with the smoke. That precision. Shout out to Thomas Prentice, Army vet. Thanks for joining us. Cool, this is great. I'm impressed. There's an awesome shot over the bridge. Has anybody ever seen them from a boat? That would be pretty wild,
Yeah.
right from the water, where they do
Lots
it.
of boats in the water right now, so I don't know if you. I've had the opportunity to be out there, but let us know how it is.
Yeah. Or maybe if you're close by now, if you hear any rumblings, let us know if you're kind of hearing this. I mean, it's definitely, the sound has to reverberate, far. This is in Annapolis, but it can touch, all parts of Maryland on that coastline. I'm watching your comments here, guys. Cool. We got the 6 of them, right? All 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. All together here. Gearing up for the weekend. They did a pre-show yesterday to practice for this, and some people were able to get a glimpse of that down in Annapolis. But today was the show. They went up at around 2 p.m. and now it's nearing 2:30. There are all 6 of them there in formation. Lots of people saying it never gets old. When you see them, they're just perfection.
Absolutely not.
So cool. Look at that. Awesome. Lonnie Gold saying wife of Navy husband. Awesome there. Congrats. One person saying they were on this river when they flew. I could see the pilot and the sound was booming from Tom. Cool. Thanks for that comment. That's interesting. Yeah, we really are getting that other view of without the sound. So it's totally different. Patty says they fly over my house so I can hear them as you're talking about them. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, so we're totally not getting the sound in here, obviously. We have just sort of that quiet hum of the chopper. And we're hearing word that they may stay up even longer, but we'll just see how long we have this feed up for from our chopper. So, yeah, thanks for watching. It's cool to hear that some of you guys are hearing this from your house. Awesome pilots, lots of great comments about the Blue Angels here. Keep them coming, guys. Let us know what you think and let us know if you've seen them live. We got all 6 of them. There it is. That formation, that silhouette. Yeah, so I guess we did have a little misunderstanding. They're going to be up for longer than we thought. So we'll kind of see how long we get this feed. I guess the chopper has a limited amount of time because they get a certain amount of fuel, but that's cool. I love that shot with the smoke. We've been seeing that. If you guys know more details or you want to share them in our comments, throw them down there. Awesome. Norm saying I can still feel the thunder of the F-18 engines in my chest from the flight deck of a carrier. Cool. It's super cool to see lots of people with experience and some veterans maybe, or maybe some parents of veterans watching our feed right here on Fox 5 Live. The U.S. Navy's Blue Angels here in Annapolis. Looks like we get a big wide shot now from the chopper, possibly rolling back, or maybe zooming in. We'll see what we got. Cassie says, seeing them perform never ceases to amaze me. Definitely. Lots of that sentiment going around. Oh, that's... Yes. Super impressive. Even in the cloudy skies, you can still make out that silhouette of the smoke. Oh, wow. Getting a little cloudier. Moving like kind of in and out of the clouds here, so it's sort of sunny for a moment and then back to clouds. Cool, guys. Great to hear from you guys. Don't forget to comment below. Let us know what you think. If you've ever seen the Blue Angels, if maybe you're a part of the U.S. Navy's graduation this weekend, or if it means something to you, let us know in the comments. We'll shout you out here from our digital desk, our digital newsroom at Fox 5 Live at Fox 5 DC. We're here in Washington. I'm Molly, and this is Cameron bringing you the live events of the day. And we got this chopper feed in. We're like, we're going to take this, bring this to you all so you can see what's going on right now. It's happening now. It started at 2 p.m. and we're hearing word that they're going to stay up a little longer than we thought. And so we'll see how long. Kyle, thanks for checking in on YouTube, saying this is pretty cool. I really dig it too.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
This never gets old. That's in the comments on Facebook. But,
Yeah.
You know, we're half an hour in, and this could go for another hour as far as I'm concerned.
I know.
What they're able to do on the plane is absolutely incredible.
Barbie saying, I can't see them. I know they're going off into the clouds. We're getting these moments of cloudiness, and then they seem to come back into view. So we'll see if we can make out their silhouette again, unless they've been lost to us in the clouds. We'll have to see. But the chopper doing a great job here with this feed. Another viewer saw them at Andrews Air Force Base. Some people watching from Annapolis. If you're in Annapolis, let me know if you hear them. Tell me what it sounds like from the ground, because we're not getting that sound from inside our newsroom. But awesome, guys. Thanks for commenting, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. We want to hear from you guys. And this is the Blue Angels. The Navy and Marines make up some of the pilots of the Blue Angels. They perform about 70 performances a year, and they all started way back in the late 1940s, 1946. And, you know, they've had a long storied tradition and history of performances and celebration. Of course, this one leading up to the U.S. Naval Academy's graduation. That is this week. So lots of people here in town getting this show today over Annapolis. And it looks like our chopper has widened it out. Big shot here of the river there, Severn River in Annapolis. Not sure if he's sticking on to them or if they've dissipated or disappeared into the clouds. We'll see what happens here. Oh, cool. One viewer, all of that in Severna Park. You can hear them really well. Great. I'm sure all those towns surrounding Annapolis are all getting that show, or at least hearing it from the ground. That's something that we're not hearing from our sound in here. So it's cool to hear from you guys.
And I just looked at their schedule, and they actually have 22 more cities that they're visiting over the rest of the year, all the way up until mid-November. So,
awesome.
Chances are they're coming to something, regardless of where you are. We've got multiple days of performances in most of these places.
Yeah, so like Cam said, wherever you guys are, chances are they're coming to a city at least near you, where they have a performance coming up. They perform through November, is what we just found out. So if you're far away, you hopefully can catch them somewhere. Seeing another viewer watching from Wisconsin. Awesome. Jay, nice to hear from you here. Cool. Lillian, isn't it a nice surprise to see them? Loved it when we lived in SD, South Dakota. Lovely Blue Angels, lots of comments. Cool, guys. Well, Chopper is wide shotting it. That might be our show today. I think it was cool to see the four of them align and then the other two come in.
And the six came in. I think that was my favorite shot.
Yeah.
There was 6 of them as they went around that turn.
Definitely. And this obviously has to entail a ton of practice, a ton of uniformity and skill, and they have to go up. I wonder, if you guys know, let us know how many times, or sort of more of the stats on their practices. I actually didn't get a chance to look that up. But if you know more, maybe you're more intimately connected to the Blue Angels and how it all works, let us know in the comments. We want to hear from you guys. We're so happy to bring you this show today from the chopper. This all started at about 2 o'clock. Looks like we had them for about a half hour.
Yeah, which is, they only released that.
Super cool show. Yeah. Jason, you're asking where they're performing. We can look at their schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it. If you just Google the Blue Angels schedule, it's all public record. But,
yeah.
A long list of places, from Wisconsin to Washington, Maine, Alabama, Florida, Texas, Georgia, California, so all over the world. All over the U.S. And there's a bunch of places I've never heard of. It's one of those cities down there.
Wow. Yeah. So I was hearing someone that said they just missed it. You guys, once we stop our feed here, you can rewind this video and check it out. We captured it all for you guys. We're going to bring it back into the studio here because we're about to lose our feed from the chopper. But thanks so much again for joining us, guys, and join us more on this Facebook page here or on our YouTube channel for live news and breaking events just like this one. We love hearing from you, hearing your comments. Don't forget to check out this video once we have it posted on our Facebook. I'm Molly, and this is Cam, live from your digital newsroom. We're going to take it back to a shot of the Capitol Dome here in Washington, guys. Join us next time for other special events. All right, back to YouTube, guys. If you're joining us on YouTube, thanks for joining in on our special feed here. We had the Blue Angels for you. Our chopper just came down from that, so I wanted to make sure we rolled out of that. But just a gorgeous shot over Annapolis and Severna Park.
Amazing.
And a lot of you guys were commenting that you were watching from your homes or maybe around in and around Maryland. We also had some other breaking news earlier. I mentioned this to you guys about the suspected suicide bomb in Jakarta. No new feeds on that, no new information right now. So once I have that, we'll bring that to you as much as we have it. We're going to go over to, let's see, some other special feeds that we have coming in from Capitol Hill. The House Democrats are talking about President Trump's expected budget and their comments on that. Let's go over there in just a moment here.
Similar conversation we had 8 years ago, Mr. Neal. And I'd like to compare just for a moment the president's budget with President Obama's first budget. So in his first 4 years, the Obama budget projected average economic growth of 4%. Trump budget less than 2.8%. The Obama budget projected average growth of almost 2.2% over the first decade. Trump budget 2.9%. Obama's projections the first year of his presidency seemed pretty reasonable around his time, given historical economic growth levels following a recession. It's not surprising in my mind that President Obama's projections never materialized because he pursued an anti-growth, increasing taxes, more regulation policy that left us $20 trillion in debt. This president, and Republican Congress, on the other hand, have already gone on record to not only try to reduce regulations and the regulatory burden that we find now in 1,000+ bills, as well as pursuing tax reform, lowering rates, ultimately balancing the budget. Mr. Secretary, just a quick thought on approach on the border disability tax and on Ms. Martinez's point about economic growth.
We've had the opportunity, Tim McGrady and I, meeting almost every week. I've been in office. We're working very closely together. I've discussed this concern we have on the border adjustment tax. We're looking forward to with McGrady to look at it. We're working very collaboratively. Our objective is to get companies to the tax.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis, you recommend. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
All right, guys, it's Molly and Cam back in the newsroom for you. So thanks for waiting with us and being patient on YouTube. We were able to bring you that awesome show from the Blue Angels in Annapolis, and we don't always get to do cool things like that, but whenever
that was one of the cool things that I've seen. I mean, I'm only 2 days in, but that That was really, really cool.
Yeah, we want to bring you those cool live performances, whether they be, interesting local news things, or of course breaking news of the more severe or sort of tragic even variety from across the world, including this suicide bombing in Indonesia. We don't have any new information for that on you. I was looking for some feeds, but we're able to bring you feeds from all over the world and the nation here at Fox 5 Live. So that's what we do every day, midday from about 11:30 into the afternoon, around 2:30 or 3, depending on the breaking news. We'll jump in with these events. But in order to see that, go ahead and click, if you're interested, that button that says subscribe, and you'll be able to see when we pop up with live breaking news whenever you're kind of on your phone or on your computer, if you're part of our channel, and we'll have this breaking news for you all the time. So click subscribe on our YouTube channel, and we are here every day, weekdays from about 11:30 to 2:30 or so into the afternoon. So with that, we have a couple, live things happening on the Hill, but we've been bringing you those in and out, and nothing super pressing to round it out with. So I think we're going to roll out the show for the day.
Yeah.
Say goodbye on this Wednesday. This is a fun one.
It was a fun one, especially. I mean, it started out a little bit severe, and with the Jakarta thing, and we continue to pray for, and hearts and minds go out to everyone involved in those tragedies around the world. It seems seemingly popping up on a daily basis almost. Which is obviously incredibly tragic and incredibly unfortunate, but
definitely.
Glad to end on a little bit of a higher note with the Blue Angels.
Yeah, and it's great to see all of you guys, and also thanks for joining along with us and commenting and letting us know what you think. If we had more information on that, we would bring that to you, but feel free, and please do stay tuned to our Facebook page. It's Fox 5 DC on Facebook, and our website, fox5dc.com. We're going to have all those stories that we've been talking about. If they've been written up as web stories, we'll update them throughout the afternoon, throughout the night, so you can see more updates on what is happening over there, including the tragedy of the alleged suicide bombing over in Jakarta, and of course updates on the Manchester tragedy that we saw just a couple days ago there in Manchester, England. We'll be updating that throughout as we have new information for you guys. So with that, we're going to roll it out. I am Molly Nevola, and this is Cam.
Yep.
We're going to be with you guys tomorrow again, as usual. So going into Thursday, the 25th, we'll see you at 11:30 here in the Fox 5 DC Digital Newsroom. With that, we're going to roll it out with a little music. Guys, enjoy your afternoon, and stay tuned to our YouTube and our website for more, as always, live news and events. Have a great one.